Right. Well then, Brit, you ready?
Sure.
Sam, count us in.
3, 2, 1, Fidelio.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. And let's get things started off with, unfortunately, last episode corrupted for about the last half hour to 45 minutes. So the episode leaves off really happy, and things went kind of south from there. But before we get to the summary, let's do tonight's one quick thing. It was starting off with a basic one quick thing that Bob asked this week, just going like, hey guys, what would you bring if you were stuck on a desert island? Then a couple of people who shall not be named decided to engage. And now this week's one quick thing is instead, you are stuck in the deep ethereal plane with Lolly forever. What are 3 things you bring? Let's start with Jyotis.
A scroll of sending, my special magic infinite sketchbook so that I can pull a small piece of copper off it to use the scroll of sending, and my jug of alchemy.
Okay. Good answers. Latham, what are 3 quick things that you'd bring into the infinite void with Lolly?
2 of them I know. Really good Scotch or equivalent alcohol. Cotton balls. And that's about it, because I have sending to begin with, so I can just talk to whoever the hell I want to outside of that. And it's an eternal ethereal realm, so I feel rather at home with it. So it's just I think those 2 are good enough for me.
Okay, well, Latham's being minimalist.
Oh, and a good chair. A really good chair.
There you go. All right, that's 3 things. Lolly, you are trapped in an eternal, ethereal, deep realm with yourself. What's 3 things you bring?
First of all, I feel personally attacked by this line of questioning. I would bring candy, my coloring book, and a Frumptooten for calling the Frumps over.
Okay. Lesterin, you're trapped in the deep ethereal with Lolly forever. What are the 3 things you're bringing?
My dice set, my sword, and a lot of beer.
I love the implications of the dice set and the sword. Like, you're going to gamble, and if you lose, you just... Lolly's gone.
Yeah.
Gary, finish us off. You're stuck in the deep ethereal realm with Lolly forever. What are the 3 things you'd bring?
A deck of cards for as many games as I can imagine. A book that I don't mind reading multiple times. And some wax to put in my ears so I can sleep.
You all know you actively travel with me now, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's why they're bringing it.
Which is why we all need something to block out the sound so we can get a decent night's sleep sometimes.
Oh my god. I mean, between Jyotis and Lolly, yeah, because Jyotis is like, it's experiments time at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Of course.
Yeah, like Garret, honestly, Garret absolutely adores Lolly, but Garret also knows Lolly well enough to know that when he was going to probably try to sleep at some point during this eternity, it's going to be Gary.
Sleep yet?
Gary.
Are we there yet? Are
you asleep yet, Gary?
Tell me about the dream you're having, Gary.
Mm-hmm. What do you want for breakfast, Gary?
Would anyone like... Yeah, this is hell, clearly. Like, this is the true final layer of hell, is being stuck with Lolly for all eternity. Like, it might be great for a while, but it will get there.
I think Jyotis can handle it for 100 years.
Jyotis can only handle it because he's got to, like, I'm going to talk to someone, maybe.
Well, you could talk to Lolly. Actually, he'd spend a lot of time experimenting with Lolly.
No!
Okay.
Let me open again.
On that dark note, here I thought Lestrin was going to be the most brutal. All right. Would anyone like to summarize what happened last game so as to catch to bring us up to speed?
No.
I feel like I did it the last couple of times, so
You
You
did.
did.
I
Yeah.
nominate Gary.
I seem to remember saying no, like moments ago.
Good for you.
We found some people and managed to repair their boat enough to salvage it and maybe help it limp back to docks. And then a big fucking fish destroyed it and ate half of them, and we were only able to save 2 of the people. And now I'm salty.
Those two
Hey, Lolly.
probably are as well.
Uh-huh.
And while Wally went exploring and found a chest,
I found a pulsing, beating, what looks like a celestial gift heart in a chest, but I don't know what it is. Do I know what that is?
I don't. That's where we ended. Like we opened the
Yeah,
chest.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
opened the chest. So we're going to begin with that the sun has fallen. It is getting towards night, but there is still a little bit of blue out. And you guys can actually clearly see the Isle of Summer Soul as you are coming down the cliff towards Trinisbad. You can even get some of the light pollution in the background now. The Heartbot container opens with a creak. And Jyotis, you immediately notice that it is lead-lined cleverly in between treated wooden panels. So this is made to survive underwater conditions, but it's also got a hidden layer of lead lined throughout it.
To
And-
stop magic from going in and out.
Indeed. There is a blue... It is somewhat like a pillow, but it actually appears semi-translucent as well, and almost as though it's a fluidic thing to support this heart. The heart is roughly the size of Lestrin's fist. Less hairy.
Oh,
It is transparent for the most part. It is much like a jellyfish, where there's like hints and hues of coloration. There's some silver, some pink, and some blue. And it does pulse with each beat. This does a triple beat where it's ba-bum, 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 ba-bum.
First of all, I like the implications that dwarves' hearts have beards too.
I mean, yeah. That's why they're so hardy.
They pump booze. They pump ale.
Mhm. You said it's sort of translucent too, Bob.
Yes, it is.
We can see all the chambers
again,
and things.
Yeah, you
Is it
can
kind
see all
of
the
like
chambers
a
and things.
Nanomore jellyfish, where it's like all plasticky and clear?
Mhm.
Ooh.
It is definitely clearish. Without touching it, you would not know if it is plasticky or not.
Okay, can I roll some sort of check to remember? Like Molly was learning a whole bunch of things. Maybe she had like a copy of Grey's Anatomy on her shelf or something. But like,
Gith anatomy. Yeah,
would
I
it
get
be
it.
like medicine check?
Yes.
Okay. At advantage.
No.
Okay, 19.
See, who needs advantage? So Gith hearts are an interesting difference from a human heart because they are actually much more symmetrical than a standard human heart. And whereas you don't really know what a human heart looks like, you know the funny sounds it makes when you heal people. Because it does genuinely sound different to you. You can detect little differences like that as a healer. But this heart is more shaped in a humanoid-like way that is not Gith.
Can I lick it?
Did you just ask if you can lick
No, can
a
I
heart?
can I do an Arcana check?
Yes.
What else can we do on this thing? Not nearly as
back
good.
in the box.
14.
It is really difficult to tell. Again, with Jyotis pointing out the lead lining, it's obvious that whoever had this was attempting to contain it and hide it as best as possible. But in the meantime, beyond that, you suspect that the pillow below it is a kind of evocation made to help sustain it so that it is actually still alive.
Okay.
Am I around?
From the pillow, got it.
I would assume so, Gary,
Well,
because you guys are still on the ship, so...
once Jyotis points out that it's a lead-lined box and what that means, my first inclination is that's to prevent somebody from finding it. Close the
Yeah.
box.
Okay.
Now.
I close it. Okay, I'm going to tuck that into my bag very, very carefully.
How?
I'm just gonna wrap it in some of the canvas so that it just looks like it's part of the pile of canvas.
Wait a minute.
My dear, that was a standard-sized wooden chest, like
Oh,
a pirate
it's
chest.
like a full chest.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, you could carry it because you're a
Hmm.
Firbolg, quote unquote, and have the ability to carry large loads.
Sorry. I thought it was chest
did you-
sized.
Put the heart back in it?
Yeah, no, I never took
Oh,
it out. I just
Yeah,
opened
no, she never took the heart out, but
Okay.
Store it below decks with the canvas.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
going to store it below decks underneath the canvas, and I'm going to lead Chuggers down there and sit him right next to the
Wait.
canvas and give him a whole bunch of candy
I-
and go, Chuggers, if anybody tries to go near this, you bite them.
Did we pick
Probably
up
add
Chugger's
a
collar?
caveat about the rest of us.
yes, you did pick up Chugger's collar.
That's right.
Chuggers?
Also, I'm going to ask that nobody mention this thing.
Yeah, nobody talk about this.
What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking
Good. You know, the heart in the box underneath the canvas. Anyways, Chuggers, anybody but me comes near it, you axe beak them. Right, buddy?
Yeah.
Wave a piece of candy in front of him.
What?
That's right. Wark. Kill.
What?
Kill. And then I take off his collar.
I'm not familiar with this.
Don't do that down deck.
Inside, huh?
Well, it's... How big is Chuggers? He can't be that big, right?
Chuggers is a large creature.
Chugger's is
Oh,
large
never mind.
and
He keeps his collar on. Don't mind me.
While reaching out to undo his collar, you have a thought.
Oh, wait. You're
Yeah.
big.
our hold is not that big.
Well, can I let him
I
on
mean,
the
I'm
deck?
okay with sinking your ship just off the coast of Trinidad. That's fine, but
Can I let
you
him on
know.
the deck? Would he have enough room there? Well,
yes,
large isn't, huge.
no,
Okay,
but
I
Size of
lead
all
him back
horse.
up on deck, and I tell
He's
him,
like-
okay, you watch that door. You keep everybody from going down into the bilge, okay? And then I take off his collar.
That'll work. Clunk. The boat visibly
Yeah.
shifts a little.
yeah, there's definitely a and it
Some
just
wave
rebalances a little
blowing
bit.
And none of the surviving crewmates saw that or anything, did they?
They are holding each other and just
Hmm.
they were holding things together when they were rescued, and you could even see them being hopeful. They're broken right now.
Yeah.
That
Right,
took
so
everything
all
from
they did
them.
was saw me march up on deck and go, okay, if anybody goes down there, kill them. Grrk!
Yep.
and he took the collar off. Oh, tiny
Thankfully,
bird.
they're not very emotionally invested in whatever the fuck you're doing right now, but Echo is definitely looking with a raised eyebrow, but, you know,
Oh yeah, Echo, don't go down there.
she just gives the nod of just like, I thought you guys were going to have me just stay on the boat anyways, because you don't leave a
you could
boat
probably
abandoned.
handle yourself, but this is backup.
Chuggers is a good pet.
Perhaps you should tell Chuggers that she's okay.
Yeah.
Chuggers, no kill. And then I point at them.
Friend.
No
Friend.
kill. friend. But still don't let them go downstairs.
The bird cocks its head at you to get like one eye looking at you, and then like turns its head to where it's almost upside down. And it's a little heavy set, so as a rotund bird, it nearly flips its body and has to like rebalance itself because it's at sea, and it just
You're so smart. You're a good boy. Here, have candy.
Oh my god. You're gonna
Isn't
You are going to
Chuggers
kill
like
that
bigger than a
bird.
horse? Isn't he like a good sized bird?
yeah,
Sounds like a
Chuggers is
goddamn
the size.
ostrich.
He is a little bigger than an ostrich, basically.
Yeah.
And by a little bigger, I mean a little wider, like way wider.
Widthwise.
Like big enough to fit a Firbolg.
Yeah.
Chuggers is aptly named for sure.
Yeah.
All right, I just put like a small pile of candy on the deck for him. I'm down to
You are
3
going to
pounds of
give that
candy.
bird diabetes.
He's fine. His foot healed.
Oh. Echo kind of gives the sagely nod and just, by the way, we're approaching Trinisbad. Y'all have a plan?
Make friends?
We were going to the free docks, yes.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to pay for the free docks. Like,
What?
we're gonna have to find an open dock. The free docks means anyone can dock there.
it's free
That's
is a
false
description
advertising.
of the openness.
Mm-hmm.
Free is in liberty, not free as in gratis.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it means you can offload whatever supplies you brought, and no one's going to inspect them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Duty free. Maybe not duty free, but yeah.
No, technically you still need to tithe to the Vaults of the Kai based off of any sales you make. But
Still owe that.
We're okay with that.
We could do that.
Yeah. I had more of a plan, but after all of that, I'm very tired.
Do you have any recommendations, Echo?
she's like, I haven't been to Trinisbad a lot, mostly because this place is pretty dangerous. And admittedly, I kind of just wanted to go to see it.
Well,
Fair enough.
She gives a little bit of a shrug and it's just like, I know that this is the city you can get anything you want to get.
Like candy?
Yep.
oh,
But-
yay.
Have your friends check it first.
No,
Thanks,
thank you.
Echo. Appreciate that.
Alright, we need to think of a business rotation. Because I want somebody sleeping on the boat at all
Oh.
times. I want somebody on the boat at all times.
I'll stay here, Gary.
I'm sure you'll have business in the town as well, and there's only one real bunk. It's just we should keep at least one person. Well, there's a few bunks, but there's one comfortable bunk.
That's true.
I've slept in all of them.
Gary taking a page from the Lolly playbook of bed testing without jumping.
I'm so proud. I'm
They're all
not-
kind of
More so,
hammocks.
it's just I figured that we'd all just rotate through as a shift thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Shifts go by. So everybody was sleeping in one or the other, and there's only one that's in like a really good place to catch a cross breeze, but isn't too cold or isn't too warm,
Yeah.
and that's the one I'm referring to. But generally speaking, I want somebody here at all times, while the rest of us go ashore, take care of business. But if possible, we should come back here each night instead of getting an inn, if that's amenable to everyone.
That seems reasonable.
That works for me.
Echo kind of
Yes.
thinks about it and is like, well, honestly, we can anchor the boat away from the free docks. That way it's not directly under threat. And I mean, between me and Chuggers and also your potted plant walks around?
Yes. Yes, he does.
And
Is that
you
thing
were
going
going to
to
tell me
betray that?
about Mr. Snappy Win?
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to mention Mr. Snappy woke up.
Oh, what?
Um,
Hey, Mr. Snappy. I feed him candy.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it works.
Please don't feed him candy, Lolly. That should be okay, but he's a meat eater. So if you feed him candy, it's got to be meat-based. Like jerky and things.
We can't. It
Candy
can be
ham.
Yeah.
Don't feed it candy.
The plant neither makes any movement to agree or disagree with any of Jyotis' statements.
I use trusted education to make it taste like meat, but it's still candy.
I mean,
Well-
it took the candy already, so...
I mean, I guess if he's happy and it doesn't make him sick. If he gets sick, you can clean up the mess, though.
Tonight in D&D, can Venus flytraps get sick?
Yes. Yes, they
Yes.
can.
This and
They
other
can.
questions I never wanted to know an answer to.
Yes, they can.
You like mountain biking?
God damn it.
I gotta read.
All right, so, meme lords, as the boat continues sailing down with the sun now fully gone and darkness now climbing, there is a lighthouse in the distance, and now let's actually bring you to the map.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh,
log
I
in.
should load the map.
I'm just going to add party to area, so...
Yeah, but mine is not open at this.
Ah. Bloop!
oh,
Bloop, 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 bloop.
So,
Give me that.
the lighthouse has an almost eldritch green glow to it, and instead of being in a standard pattern of either the white alabaster like you would expect from the Steel Tranquility lighthouses, or even just a more traditional painted with like a red or blue swirl in order to be seen from a distance, this one has a thick stream of brass that curls up and around it on a stone structure that looks like it has been waterlogged and possibly at one point or another all but taken by the sea. Like there is trace amounts of kelp and coral growth upon it. Like contrarian parts of the sea are on this lighthouse. But most prominently is the green light up atop of it. Instead of a pulsing beacon, or rather a simple fire in a lantern that is being navigated to shimmer and guide, this glows with a light that pulses in random timing. So it'll be like 2 pulses, 3 pulses, 4, 3, 5, 2. It just varies in intensity and in timing, almost like someone's experimenting or trying to charge it up. There's a little bit of a static hum in the air, and both Jyotis and Lolly, as the boat gets closer to it, the two of you get like a little tingle running down your spine.
Ooh. Do I recognize that as the same kind of energy from the lighthouse in Alaris Amal?
Roll an Arcana check.
That is so cocked. There we go.
would I notice anything, Bob?
16.
Okay. Lestrin,
Would I notice anything?
All right, so let me get to Lolly first, and then I'll get to you two. Lolly, with a 16, it is not similar to Alaris Amal, except for the fact that it's trying to be.
Huh.
And the interesting thing about this one is that you're actually studying the energy of the light, and it comes to you on why you got that tingle that went down your spine is because whatever green light that is. It comes from a pulse of eldritch energy that can only be made by the connection between patron and warlock.
Uh-huh.
Ooh.
And
It's all pack magic. Oh,
Possibly.
so, to come
I
next
roll
to...
Arcana.
Oh my god, wait in line.
Do those first. Do them first.
Lestrin.
Everyone wants in.
Lestrin, with your previous check on the lighthouse where you were like, that silver blinding light is kind of like the silver light that blinded me at one point. You look at the light as well, trying to discern it, but instead your eyes get distracted by the brass because it's irregular. It's not like the painted swirl brass. This is almost like it's built to hold the charge, kind of like the exact thing that Zarbel was getting you to zap for her.
Oh.
Gary, what would you like to roll?
I'm fine.
Okay. Latham,
Yes,
did I hear you in line too?
no, you did not. Because
Okay.
I hadn't interjected, so I'm
Okay. All right.
standing and with an eyebrow raised from a distance.
All right. Jyotis, finally.
When he got the tingle down his spine, he was wondering. I want to roll a Kana, and to see if I can discern whether or not it's similar in energies we encountered in Maral Talvash.
Roll.
26.
No, but I need you inside Barbob for a moment.
Okay.
bum, bum, ba-da.
Ba-da-dum, ba-da-da. Bond. James Bond.
James Bond.
So, learned any new spells lately, or?
I did, actually.
Ooh.
I swapped out a couple of spells that I didn't use very often.
Ooh.
So I got rid of Green Flame Blade and took Message so I can communicate with brains.
Ooh. Do
So
they have
that's
to be good
useful.
brains?
They have to be functioning brains
Delicious
within
brain?
a specific distance.
Hmm.
No, just functioning. And then I also took Floating Disc so we can carry stuff.
Yeah.
Yay.
Good one.
I got rid of Jump because I've used it all of once.
And we have
Swapped it.
Mario Lestrin.
Yeah, so I answered
Exactly.
Lestrin's, or not Lestrin, but Jyotis's little quandary. And with that, the boat begins to approach. Echo looks over the pier and points towards the dock that is directly in front of you guys by the Bazaar and says, I see a couple of openings there. Do you want to go there or do you want to look for more?
Now, just out of game really quick.
Mhm.
Well, we're delivering materials and stuff, right?
Did you guys pick any up? Because I didn't see any on your shipping manifest.
Because I can't remember, honestly.
I don't know if we picked anything up this
Yeah, I
time
don't think
around.
we took any mail.
Yeah, no, well, this is purely we got a mission at the moment.
We're coming here to pick up the Getty's ES operative for the dive.
All right. Then I'm going to make a
Okay.
call and say, anchor us away from the docks at a reasonable distance. And we'll take the small boat in.
I'm
She
totally
nods.
down with that.
She nods and just, all right, I'll set up anchor. What do you want to do with these two? She points over at the half-elves.
We'll take them with us.
Okay.
We should get them back to their guild house and explain what happened. They were
Sweet.
under our protection and we failed them.
Yeah.
She gives a little bit of a sad nod and just, well, can't win them all.
Silently nod.
With that, the boat pulls to the side. Echo does manage to dock it. as in, anchor it,
Mm-hmm.
secure everything, checks the keel boat for you, and beyond that, just gives a nod and just, I'll take first shift of watching this boat. If someone wants to relieve me, maybe tomorrow morning or something, I don't know.
We'll make sure that somebody relieves. We don't want anybody stuck on this duty for 24 more than 24 hours.
Thanks. Much
With each
appreciated.
rotation.
Also-
Somebody will rent a bed. We'll rent enough beds for everybody, and then one person will sleep here as long as we're in town.
Got it.
Should we leave her with the
Everyone will
sending
have a
stone,
chance.
Garret?
Yeah, I'll leave her with mine.
Oh, okay.
She takes it and just, thanks. I'll call if there's any trouble.
Excellent.
It only works once a day.
I promise not to idly call.
Oh, I know. I was just letting you know that if it's used once, that it's expended, and you need to find another way to communicate.
She looks at Chuggers for a second and just, I don't think he can run on water.
No.
Not yet.
It's not a good joke about.
Okay. Well, if you see the ballista shoot something up in the sky, maybe start looking. But otherwise,
Gotcha.
Alright, get everyone loaded up. Is there
yep,
enough room
it's
for
easy
everyone?
enough to load up your away boat. And then, after a little bit of rowing,
I affectionately pat the ballista before we leave.
I affectionately pat Chuggers
Oh.
and slip
Chuggers
Mr.
and-
Snappy another candy.
it
Jyotis
takes it.
Jyotis gives Mr. Snappy a hunk of jerky.
It takes it.
I affectionately pat nothing because why?
Don't you
I
have
mean, you don't even like
cat?
Mr. Captain Pancakes?
to say? Don't you have Master
No,
Captain?
Captain Pancake's coming with me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Remember, they can only go a limited distance.
It's true. That's right. Familiars have to be within range.
So he's going to be my constant companion.
Well,
Jyotis leans down and whispers to Mr. Snappy to only eat rodents.
Plant does not give you any sign of any understanding, but nor any sign of misunderstanding.
And he just pats him on the head.
Feed me, Seymour! Feed me!
That is exactly what Mr. Snappy will sound like if you ever have,
Goody.
awaken it, communicate to plants and animals. Yeah.
That might be a thing eventually.
I just love the idea of it just
Mr.
not responding to you.
There's more to that, but later.
So, on your little skippy boat, who's rowing?
Not me.
Somebody with
Jyotis-
upper
Jyotis
body
will row.
strength, preferably.
Giant lady
Apparently,
with
it's
long
me.
I mean, I can do my thing where I have like the paddle on the back.
Yeah, we
Yes.
can put the pedal wheel up there.
Paddle, paddle, paddle.
Yeah, so this city has a lot of lights going on its buildings, and now that you're getting closer to the docks, you can actually see that a lot of these buildings in the Free Dock region have holes, damage. It looks like when the storm comes, this area gets hit pretty hard, despite it being on the opposite shore of the normal storm direction. And as the boat pulls up towards the docks, you get a couple of
Everstorm.
different people. What?
The Everstorm.
Yeah. I'm so glad you read that. As you're pulling up towards the docks, these docks are well taken care of and well maintained. Jyotis, you would tell that immediately with your carpenter's tools and knowledge there.
Mhm.
The wood is freshly replaced. It looks like they regularly rotate it out. And meanwhile, there's a lot of openings on the dock, and you're getting flagged by more than a few people in what appears like poncho-style robes and thick coverings and lanterns with them, and they're waving to you and trying to like individually call you over to offer you a rate to dock. Would anyone like to make a perception check?
Oh, please allow me.
Okay, Gary.
Based on the training that I did
Uh-huh.
during our last downtime, would I get any bonuses or any?
You may roll with advantage.
Woo.
Oh, that was a good roll. 21.
Sure enough, it's not the first or the second person that are waving to you, but you see a marker symbol by the third that indicates a dark tide that you can actually trust. And it's the honor among thieves, where you know that this person is not a legitimate business operator, but if you go to them and you pay them, they will take care of you.
Lolly's the one steering, right?
Well, Lolly's the one with the water paddle going. I think Jyotis and Lestrin are rowing.
We're rowing.
Then I'll just indicate to everyone, go to that one.
Cool.
And sure enough, as you guys pull up, the figure, this one also is wearing that kind of like poncho-style robe. They drop down a good 25 feet from the dock, land in the water, pop back up, hop out on a waterside dock, and then extend down a ladder by pulling a rope. And you can see that their hand, those of you with dark vision can see that their hand appears scaly, very greenish blue. And after it pulls the rope and causes the ladder to fall, good rates, safe passage. Welcome to port.
Hi, I'm Lolly.
Thank you.
Have you seen this girl?
Business first, Lolly.
Okay.
I would like to negotiate safe dockage from my craft.
Looks at your craft. This craft, or your one on the water?
We could bring the other one in as well. If the terms are right.
This craft. 5 silver per day. That boat, 2 gold
Per day?
per day.
Jyotis looks
You
at
take
Garret.
1 gold and 7 silver per day?
Roll a persuasion check.
Oh, so close. 21.
He pauses, thinks about it. 1 gold, 7 silver, 5 copper.
Done. With a bonus if I'm pleased at the end of our term.
This is agreeable. Safe passage for you and yours, and for your ship.
Done. This one will stay for now. One of us will go back to the other boat, or some of us will go back to the other boat and bring it in before evening.
Well, it is night now, so before
In the
morning.
morning. Yeah, sorry, I forgot what time it was.
It's okay.
Out of character. I forgot what time. I remember after I said it, I remembered, oh no, it was evening when we were coming in. So we'll bring it in the morning. But I will pay for tonight.
Thank you. Welcome to Trinispad. You may call me Vaughn.
It's nice to meet you. I'm Garret.
A pleasure. Thank you
Can you
for
also
choosing my peer.
Can you also recommend a similarly, and I subtly indicate the rune.
Mhm.
Can you also recommend a similar establishment for sleeping?
Safe. Rebel Blossom
No.
Tavern. It is in the tree. Through town. Gotta go through the Stone Sea Gardens. But safe. Especially for, and he kind of looks over the group, new travelers.
We are that. I'm going to give 2 gold as a down payment to keep this dock safe and encourage.
Yeah, you put it, when you hand it to him, he just palms it and it's gone. It just never existed. And he just gives you a nod, and you see him raise up to his full height, which is, he's pretty tall. He's about 6.5 feet.
So he's just equal with me.
Yeah.
Look
And
at
Also,
It's
can
so
you answer her
nice.
question when we're done?
of course.
Indicating Lolly.
Yeah. Of course.
Well,
Need anything? Need any help tying it off?
No, all taken care of. Welcome.
Thanks.
Thanks for your hospitality.
Gives a very deep bow. And just,
thank you so
it will be
much.
taken care of.
First of all, thank you so much for caring about our safety. Not a lot of people emphasize that around here, and it's so nice of you to do that. Secondly, have you seen this girl?
Looks at it.
Mm.
I have seen no girl like that.
Okay. Thirdly, do you know where, who sells jewelry and things?
You want to go to the bazaar in the morning.
Okay.
There is a rocksmith there. Dwarven fellow. Calls himself the Pickbeard.
Okay. Pickbeard. Bazaar.
Yes.
Bazaar.
Bazaar.
Do you get a referral bonus? What's your name?
1 gold for my name.
Oh,
Keep
you
David.
get gold? Wait, what?
My name costs.
No, I have
Name.
a better question.
Looks at you.
People refer to you for? What do people refer to you as?
Darktide
That
of
works.
Pier 36.
Thank you.
During this, I'm going to usher the half elves
Mhm.
up a ladder and off the boat.
Yeah, and you can see that the one who had not spoken, Krima, has just remained absolutely silent and continues to cry, whereas the older compatriot with her, he's a bit more balanced about it. Like, you can tell that he's definitely broken, but he's holding on for her sake too.
You'll have to lead me to your guild house. I'm not familiar with this area.
Gives you a nod and just, we commonly stay with friends in the Stone Spit Swamp. The Enfier Seekers don't have an official guild here. It's not the kind of city that's a good investment for an official guild building. A great city for getting supplies for going hunting, though.
Understand. Do you want to stay with us at the inn tonight and set out in the morning? I think that might be best.
That might be for the best. Perhaps when we get to the inn, we'll have a little chit-chat.
Aye. Alright. Gather the troops and head over.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, walking through the city, you can audibly hear people fighting in the dredge pit and cheering and just loads of yeah and screams about money lost. There's occasionally the howl of a good hit. And Lestrin, you can tell when there's that solid like whoomp when something has been damaged.
Gnarly.
Walking through the Free Docks living spaces, you can tell that these buildings are in various states of disrepair, and that the people that live here because they have to. It looks like those who are sleeping are doing so only because they've already gotten drunk. Meanwhile, there are people occasionally wandering around drinking. By the time you reach through the Free Docks, I need someone to roll me a d12.
I'll do it.
Okay.
5.
Yeah, you get through pretty safely. Nothing happens. Again, you see a couple of people in the street that spot you. Mostly humanoids, but no one bothers you directly. By the time you reach the Stone Sea Gardens, that is a different section of town. And immediately there's almost a chill in the air where the temperature drops by about 10 degrees, just enough to be noticeable as you step across the threshold of the territory. And it's that tense sort of feeling where, like, a shiver runs up you and the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. Or in Lestrin's case, the underbeard stands up. One thing I need to know is that when you guys reach the Stone Sea Gardens, are you going around it or through it? Because this is an open graveyard area, and you can tell there are open gates at multiple parts of the graveyard. You can cut through and across it, or you can go around it.
Is it particularly
Yes.
unseemly? I mean, like, graveyards are just I don't know. That doesn't seem something that Lotham would be particularly.
Yeah, I don't know if we should.
I'm going around.
I don't think we walk on them.
I think around is a better way.
I
All
agree.
things considered, just because we don't know.
There
what
are
we don't
some
know.
things that are not meant to be traveled with.
Mhm,
Especially
mhm.
What is this? What is it?
Well, the Stone Sea Gardens are a graveyard,
Huh.
and so I was asking if you guys were cutting through it or going around it.
No,
Is
we'll
this
go
This time
around.
we'll go around.
Okay.
Go
And would you
around.
guys like to go around to the Stone Spit Swamp or towards the Magisterium and the Grimsby Manor?
I'll go by the creepy manor.
Okay.
Are you sure?
Again, things get louder as you guys first have to approach the dredge pit in order to walk around, and it is packed. There are 3-tier stands all around the thing. There are people cheering, crying, screaming. You can hear money changing hands in between matches, and there's plenty of chanting for a champion that they are officially labeling as Boom. And you keep hearing boom, 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 and then you hear this solid whack. And Lestrin, you know the sickly sound of when a maul or club bludgeons someone to death.
Ooh.
And there's that crunch that follows is the noise that you hear with your battle experience. Whereas everyone else just hears the boom. You hear that little hint of underneath it. And then the crowd cheers, boom!
Oh boy.
What's going on in there?
You don't want to know.
Mhm.
After walking by the dredge pits, because it looks like Lestran's just going on a path here. So, after walking by the dredge pits, Lestrin, you notice a couple of hooded figures that carry what appears to be yards of gray rope in one hand that walk by towards that large building labeled as the Magisterium. And Gary, you would know offhand that typically speaking, a magisterium is both going to be a public place of office and also where trials are typically held. At least in Ayamasange. After that, as you all continue walking, there is a sign labeled in front of that creepy-looking manor, as Lolly so put it, labeled as Grimsby Manor. And it has a brass statue of a gentleman that is approximately 4 feet tall. It's not as big as a luminescent statue could be, but this gentleman has a flayed out suit of leather armor that is made to show what should be chest hair, but it's not very well done, and instead looks like little carved ringlets in there. He's holding a cane that appears to be made with almost a spinal column style structure that ends in a head that looks like a skeletal form. And as for his face, the gentleman in the brass depiction appears to be in his mid-early 50s. Goatee and hair that is tied back but appears to be somewhat less than formal. And the label beneath it in common reads Magister Grimsby, Lord of Trinisbad. It's a little gauche. There are lights on in the manor. You can hear what sounds like the faint sounds of possibly a party happening in there. Talking, drinking, a few laughs. With people's passive perceptions, Jyotis, you in the distance hear a strange animal call. Like a...
It doesn't sound like a snallygaster, does it?
No, it does not. You know distinctly what that sounds like, and it does not sound like that.
Oh,
but
good.
You do hear an odd animal call while walking by that manor.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, there is a clock tower that looks in a state of disrepair, where the clock is stuck at 3 on one side, and on the other side, the hands have been bent out to where they're almost pointing out like spikes.
That's this thing right here, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah. And then close by, beside that, is what appears to be the first actual hotel you've seen, which is labeled as the 12 Bells Lodge. On the outside, it looks well kept enough, and there is currently events happening there as well. It is loud and rambunctious. There is obviously a marker pointing towards westward, the Vault of the Kai, and the Rebel Blossom Tavern as well.
Cool.
That last one was the place that we were recommended, correct?
That is correct. That is where the Dark Tide of Pier 36 recommended that you go.
His name was Varn, right?
His
Correct.
name is Varn.
Yes.
Well, he told me that. I don't know if he said it loud enough for everyone to hear.
He did not.
I'm not sure. I'm not sharing if that was the case. But I will say that's one. toward the Rose Lodge, whatever. I missed the second part.
The Rebel Blossom.
Rebel Blossom. Okay, I heard Rose for some reason. It's cutting in and out, just weird internet's being weird. So I'll guide everyone toward the Rebel Blossom.
All right.
Woohoo! Boing, boing, boing.
It's a tree house.
Yep,
This place
it is.
spooky.
Yeah, it is built into a tree. And this is clearly the largest tree in town. It is 1.5 times the size of every other tree.
Cool.
The tree house is built, and Jyotis, you can tell this pretty quickly because you would care about how something can be built up there and not torn off by a storm. It is built to channel winds and
Ooh.
basically kind of redirect them, flow with them. So the roofing is all built in angles that look odd to a common person, but in the meantime make sense in a sailing mechanic.
Yeah.
There is, instead of a rope ladder or anything overly complicated, there is a spiraling staircase that has actually been not carved, but formed out of the wood of the tree naturally that comes up and around it. And clearly someone lacquered it after it formed, but it's almost like someone asked the tree to send parts of itself out to form a staircase that goes up and around.
Like some advanced druid craft?
Yes.
Cool.
Whoa.
And even from down here, you guys can hear that it sounds like there is a rip-roaring party happening in that tavern, because it is loud. Not obnoxious, but definitely loud. There is cheers, there is music, there's the footfalls hitting against wood that can only be from dancing. And there's a mixture of smells that give you a sense of booze and food. Warmth.
I'm heading up.
Yeah.
Right
Fine.
behind you.
Ew.
Following.
Yeah, so as you guys do approach up into the tree, by the time you reach the tree's base, this is where there is actually a ladder going up in one direction and a set of stairs in the other. And there is what appears to be a very, very large guard who is about 7.5 feet tall and nearly 6 feet wide,
Damn.
of brownish muscle and fat. And he is both. Like, you can tell that there is muscular structure behind this, but it is built like a barrel, in as much that there is just heft. He ain't going nowhere. His head is bald. One eye on the left is bulbous and bulges out a little bit. The other is tiny and squinty. And he just stands at attention. And there's a little bit of a tie around his neck, almost like someone tried to give him some sort of formality. And about 3 seconds after you arrive and get the initial shock of like, oh my god, is that an ogre? He then pipes up with, welcome to Rebel Blossom. Rooms up ladder. Tavern to right. What will it be?
Both, I think,
say
my good man.
hi. Oh. Go ahead, Gary.
If you would like to try to communicate, if you would like to communicate more favorably in his native tongue, please, by all means.
Sure. I try speaking in giant. Hi. Speak giant.
Yes.
Awesome. So you said rooms up top and other than the bar to the right?
Yes.
How good's the food here?
Really good. That's what they pay me in.
Oh,
Mhm.
must be super good because you've gotten so tall.
Oh, I'm tiny.
Aw.
And the rest of you that don't speak giant are having this moment where, like, Lolly is... And you just see him, like, wave his left hand really quick with these thick, pudgy fingers. Each of them damn near the size of Lesterin. And it's that gesture of like, oh, thanks.
Pshaw, you.
It's
Aw.
clearly good.
Like Jyotis leans over to Garret and said, "I'm waiting for the candy."
I'm sure it will come. We're going to get food and rooms, so
Food and rooms.
Gives it-
Okay.
What?
Is there like a good room to ask for? Or...
Pauses
suppose
for
we're
a
going to
moment
get
and scratches his
multiple
chin. Which, like, when he scratches his chin, the skin flakes that fall off are big enough to actually be the size of a normal human arm.
Ah.
I
Mm.
probably shed all over everyone.
my armor is purple.
Windloft.
Wait,
Birds.
Oh, birds. Okay.
Yes. Pretty birds.
Like crackers?
Yes.
Poof them into existence.
Yeah, and crackers. Ah! And he, yes. Like crackers.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Doorman.
Sleeps many people.
Okay. I hand him a silver.
Yeah, and this is comical because, like, when you reach up with it, he kind of reaches out with his thumb and index finger, and, like, for a little while is, like, trying to find how to take it from you because you're kind of big, he's super big, this is awkward, and then eventually he just kind of rotates his palm down and, like, he gets the point that, like, this is going to be difficult, so...
Here, just hold out your hand and I'll drop it in there.
Ugh, so hard. Got any food?
I do, and I pull out some candy.
I knew it.
This is just like the natural course of the conversation, too,
What?
guys.
I knew it.
Yeah, like
All right,
the
clap your
silver
hands.
he's like okay with, but the candy, his eyes glisten a little and he's like, food, yes, yes, food.
Oh,
In
man,
giant
I'm
first,
almost out.
there's yes, food. And then in common, there's food, good, yes, food.
Awesome. Well, here, hold out your hand, and I pour all the candy. It's like, hey,
Uh-huh.
make sure our rooms are pretty safe, okay?
Safe. Rebel Blossom, safe. And he points at one of the tree trunks. And Gary, you actually know this symbol now. That, yeah, this is actually a neutral ground for trading and meeting.
Good space.
It is protected.
Ooh.
And he then
Just nod.
takes the candy and forgets that the silver's there, and in one gulp, just
That was all my
Mm.
candy.
Mm.
At least it went to somebody who liked it.
And his teeth are like clearly sticking together right now, and he's like licking his hand a little bit. Get food, bar. Tell them Tiny sends you.
Okay.
Tiny likes you. Say that.
Aw. Well, I like you, Tiny.
Oh. And believe it or not, ogres can blush. They just blush orange.
I love him, guys. We're protecting him at all costs, right?
Did we just meet our new "Hey, you guys"?
How dare you?
Slop.
He means so much more than that.
Are we going to protect him from Jeff too?
We should definitely
Ever
protect
come
you, Jeff.
across a
He's definitely our friend.
Nazi named Jeff, or says Or if you call one Jeff and he responds, tell him you're our friend.
Okay, I'll tell all the Jeffs I am your friend.
Exactly. Good job.
Jyotis is actually laughing like in character.
Yeah, like there's some disconnects here. This is the brute problem solver for when someone would ignore what is obviously a bad idea anyways, because anyone that can build a treehouse like this, probably not the right person to take on to begin with, but for people that don't get the finesse of that point, there's Tiny.
I just love that every Jeff that now comes in the door is going, "Hi, I'm Lolly's friend."
Lolly's friend. Yeah. Yep. That's what Jeff got. That's what Jeff's gonna get, rather.
I see no problems with this.
Nope.
Thanks, Jeff.
Makes
Thanks,
perfect
Tiny.
sense.
His name's Tiny.
Gives you
So
a wave.
let's get upstairs.
Yeah, upstairs.
Danny,
So are you
You
guys
are
going to
great
get
help.
food
You do a
first, or are you
great
going
job.
up to the rooms?
Food.
I'm going to go upstairs and secure the room for
Yeah, that's
everybody.
what I
How
was
many do we
thinking.
have?
I'll help Garret.
I'm eating.
Yeah.
We'll be down shortly.
Okay, we have.
As you guys
Reserve our
have
table.
this conversation in front of Tiny, he points at Lester and is like, "Smart."
I have my priorities.
I'm definitely going to eat. I just want to make sure we all have a place to sleep after we're done eating. That's very important. Planning ahead.
Mhm.
So,
Tiny looks
how
at
many do
you
we
as though
have?
you've somehow insulted food.
Oh,
Looks at Lolly and
Food.
I know,
friend.
right? Yeah.
He likes food.
He's cool though.
In giant,
So
yeah,
we need
okay,
Lucky for 7.
but doesn't understand that food more important than sleep. You can sleep anywhere if you have enough food.
Exactly.
Reverts back to common. Okay.
Correct. All right. So I'm going to go secure the room that he suggested for 7.
Yeah.
And
So-
I'm gonna follow you.
so
Alright.
the safe area that is allowed, or that's the common trading area, is that just this particular hotel, or this particular tree, or
You
is
know,
it
as a lawyer, your knowledge of the criminal underworld depends on who you defend. So, roll me a history check, and I may give you an answer.
19 on the die? Let's pull my sheets. I mean, if you want a bit more on that one, history. 24 total.
Okay. Having defended a plethora of criminals that would try to pay their legal bills and educating you, and then have to be billed anyway, one of the things that you know is that symbols like this aren't symbolizing that they're the only place, but they're symbolizing that they are a safe place. This is a haven. It's neutral territory. Anyone can come and meet here. And yeah, exactly. It's it's the don't bring your drama here.
Okay.
Places like this are wildly important in towns with a lot of opposing sides.
Good to know.
Mhm.
So when there's different elements that rub each other the wrong way, this is kind of the place that they may come to meet. Now, there's probably plenty of safe places to trade at a higher cost and less safe places to trade at a more affordable cost. But this place is at least safe as a meeting place, and therefore will not bring war or reckoning.
Good to know. completely off tangent. When I do buy a house, one of my rooms, whichever room, some room, is going to be decorated like the Continental, and that's going to be my chill room. Like, I'm just looking at some of these photos and like, couch. Oh my god, I don't want that couch.
Real D&D goals. I don't want to make magic items. I want a couch.
Right.
I want that
There you
John
go.
Wick Continental couch.
Yeah.
There you go. Definitely.
So, those of you who are going upstairs to reserve a room, when you get upstairs, and at one point this almost becomes like a ladder, because the stairs go up and then nearly straight up. Like it takes a little bit of a climb to get up because this is, again, a treehouse.
More like climbing a mast, huh?
Yeah, no, when you come up, and Gary's gotten quite good at that.
Mm-hmm.
When you come
Move
up,
over
there's
the-
a few
looks like a
torches
spider.
providing natural light. They are contained within glass, of course, but they are genuine torches instead of just whale oil lanterns or anything like that. And meanwhile, there is what appears to be a half-elf male behind the counter, young of age, freckles on both cheeks, tan skin, and an auburn hair color. And he looks half asleep on the counter, but does come out of whatever he was thinking about as you approach. And just, welcome to the Rebel Blossom Tavern and Inn. How may I help you?
Real
Hi.
quick before we go on, I made sure that the two half elves were well within the care of one of those. You know, just like make sure they get a proper meal. So
Okay. So it sounds like Lolly and Jyotis are with you, so probably with Lesterin.
that apparently.
See, Les, you
So,
were
I'm going to-
unselfish.
Yes.
Well, we don't know where
So-
Latham is either, so did Latham go to get a room or go to get a meal?
Meal, assuming that meal is also where the drink is.
Yeah.
It's mostly on a liquid diet. Let's be honest.
Yeah. So, yeah, Gary, it's you, Lolly, and Jyotis that are up dealing with this half-elf who is genuinely sitting behind a counter.
I would like to secure a room. Your friend Tiny downstairs recommended. What was it? The Sky Loft?
Yes, the Sky Loft.
Well, you're going to get a wake-up
And-
call in the morning, but it is a good room for a party of people, so, bully to Tiny. You like birds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Perfectly fine. She owns one.
Oh,
Gesturing
Good.
to Lonely.
like, he looks at Lolly for a second and just, can I ask what you are?
Oh, Crackers? He's a scarlet macaw.
I think he means you, Lolly.
Oh, I'm a Firbolg? Question mark.
Yoda
Gives
shrugs.
the slow nod. Okay. Then realizes that Jyotis is there and it's like, and what are you?
Boy,
The
this-
hybrid.
Oh. Looks
Yoda
over at
sounds
Gary and
Yoda
is just like,
Yoda puts out his hand and does the web thing.
Gary,
and then
Gary just kind of does the palms up shrug.
yeah, yeah, and he shrugs right back like, okay. Well,
I'm a human. Beige
you know,
color.
good to see humans are diversifying.
It's one of my favorite pastimes. Your establishment came very highly recommended by the Dark Tide at Pier 36.
Gives a slow nod. Oh yeah. He's Varn is good folk.
Yes.
He takes out a room key and just, how many room keys will you need? And how long would you like to stay?
We are 7 for tonight, and then 5 would be remaining. Actually, no. Yeah, 5 would be
five.
remaining after tonight, because one will always sleep on the boat.
Gotcha. Well, it is 3 gold for your first night, 2 gold for each follow-up night for the Sky Loft. it winds up being cheaper than individually renting rooms. The Sky Loft has a dormitory area as well as individual bedrooms. There's 4 of them.
How many beds total?
A total of 8.
I'm gonna put 10 gold on the counter. Actually, just I'll pull out a platinum piece and slide that. It's like, let me know when that runs out. Yes.
Understood, sir. And he gives you this big nod and just, would you like any amenities in your room? We can get you anything you need. And he pauses and just, I take it. I've never seen any of you in Trinisbad before, so.
First visit. We're here on business.
Okay.
If you have like a city guide manual or something, that'd be great.
No, because they would have to keep updating it. He kind of like gives you the once over and just, if there's anything you'd like to know, we do take pride in making sure that our guests are safe. So, of course, any questions you have about any local laws and regulations or lack thereof, and you can tell that there's just that bitterness on that last part in his tone.
I have a quick question. What's the policy on cutting through the graveyard?
The Stone Sea Gardens? I wouldn't do it at night, but only because it's haunted.
Huh?
There's at least once every 10 days they host a competition to see who's brave enough to sleep in the graveyard overnight.
Okay.
I can only imagine that ends wonderfully for everybody involved.
It's not haunted in the murder, death, kill way. It's haunted in the, oh my god, this person thinks they're insane for a week way. And then, they go see the prettiest hag and get fixed.
Oh.
Intriguing.
Is that where she lives?
No, she lives in the Stone Spit Swamp.
Outside. Oh, on the
That's
north
another
time.
person that we need to visit with her as well. Leave.
Yeah,
Looking over
she mostly keeps into her cave house because it gets hot and she likes the cool. But she also she has seances and treatments in that stone tower right near the Thornwater Lake.
Understood.
That's good. Should we have them drop baths or anything, you think?
I
Garret?
always like a good soak, personally. Is there bath facilities within?
Oh,
the
of
room,
course,
or
sir.
is-
It is, and he slides you another key. It is a unisex pool facility. Everything is legal in Trinisbad, but certain things are frowned upon unless you pay for us to clean it afterwards, sir.
I don't think that would be a worry here.
He kind of gives that slow sigh of relief. Oh, thank God. It is
What's he
just
talking
to the
about?
left of the Sky Loft.
We'll explain later.
I'll tell you later.
Also, you will notice that if you need anything at all, there is actually a silver chime that if you ring it, it will actually send me a message down here, and I will come up and promptly assist you. We, of course, are more than able to do any meals up there for you if you wish. And then beyond that, all drinks can be brought up to you. And should you need something procured in town, so long as it can be gotten without having to go as far as the Stormskip Oasis, we will get it for you.
Understood. I
Excellent.
think tonight at least we are going to avail ourselves of the tavern facilities. And I wanted to secure the room beforehand.
Excellent, sir. Well, if I may make a recommendation,
By all means.
one of the drinks here, the Black Banana, quite good.
Sounds good.
Sounds like ingredients for banana bread.
He chuckles and it's definitely it will and he kind of pauses and says, I don't have any good beer jokes, but this is not beer, but it is a good, hard, sweet alcohol with a very savory aftertaste.
I will definitely try it.
I'll give it a try.
Gives you
Thank
another
you for
deep
all of
bow.
your assistance.
Of course.
All right. Lolly,
But seriously, what was he talking about?
I'll explain later. Do you have a
Later.
question for him?
Yeah, what were you talking about?
No,
No.
the other one.
Blushes for a moment and just
Don't worry. It will become clear later, I'm
Oh.
sure.
You have a picture for him, Lolly?
Oh, right. Have you seen this girl?
kind of looks at it for a second and just, no. I mean, she's a bit tall for a goblin. There is a goblin community up in the north, Hackmuch.
Hackmuch.
Yeah, we always call it Hackmuch. Like, cough, hack. But they don't appreciate it. Don't call it that in front of them.
No.
Good to know.
Yeah, there is a goblin section in town. Maybe one of them, but that's a tall goblin.
She's not a goblin. But thank you. That's also interesting.
Gives a
Let's
nod
go get
again.
some food.
So, meanwhile, Lester and Latham and our two, broken individuals show up into the tavern. And this tavern is a 2-story deal where there's miniaturized bungalows set up top. And down below is where a band is playing, and there's loads of people dancing. There's bright colors everywhere, mixture of races, different styles of dress, and all of them seem to be having a really good time. As you arrive into the tavern, you are taken to an open bungalow by a waitress who just gives you a nice genuine nod, sits you down, and basically goes over the house specials where they have lovely boar steaks that are freshly caught and grilled. They have gingered eel and tilapia, red snapper. She's just listing off things, just trying to see if anything catches your interest. And then she notices Lester and goes, "Oh, and also we have a full variety of ales, both from Soulforge and from the Sunset Tomb of Yargrungle."
Ooh. I'd love a pale ale from Soulforge.
Understood. Gives you a nod.
Wild boar steak. 2 orders of wild boar steak, please.
Understood, sir. Kind of turns towards Latham and, anything for you, sir?
That steak sounds delightful. So that will be a thing. And do you have any particularly choice cocktails?
Well, we have the Black Banana, which is a ginger root beer with a little bit of black rum, and in addition to a fire-grilled plantain, and it's mixed with a banana liqueur as well. It's this interesting, sweet, savory, and pungent taste, very much in accordance with the Isle. Otherwise, we have we call it the Broken Mango. It is it's mango juice that's been fermented combined with essentially wood grain alcohol. And then beyond that, we do have a variety of fine whiskies, including a cask from Takanro that is aged over the Verdant Inferno.
That sounds delightful.
She gives a nod and just, all right, well, I'll get you that glass. 2 boar steaks for you, 1 boar steak for you. The half-elven man reaches up a hand and just 2 orders of the ginger eel soup. And for you. Understood. Gets to it. About 5 to 10 minutes later, Lolly, Gary, and Jyotis show up. And since it's 9 p.m., here's where we'll take our first break, guys.
Ba-ba.
Welcome to Trinisbad.
Woo! Real quick, I have a question for you, Bob, before we break.
Yeah, let's say 9:15. That way I can answer your question, and then we'll go.
Uh,
Want to count us in?
3, 2, 1, Fidelio.
All right. And now that we're back, Lolly, Jyotis, and Gary managed to walk into the bar, and the waitress greets you as well. And when you notice immediately, especially Jyotis and Lollywood, oh yeah, there's the rest of our party over at that bungalow. She just escorts you over to join the others. Lestrin and Latham both have their first round of drinks. Actually, probably at this point, their second round or third. Latham might be sipping, but Lestrin, I don't know. I don't know if dwarves know how to sip.
Nope.
Lestrin takes his
Not
drinking
this dwarf.
seriously.
Yeah.
No, and
He's like, this is like another job.
no. Well, and again,
Appreciating alcohol is like it's a part-time job.
I can't tell you guys how hard I was crying while driving home from laughter about Lestrin with the I didn't know you could do that, when Gary was like, I maintained a pleasant buzz. That broke me.
That was pretty hilarious.
So I'm sitting there in traffic just giggling like a schoolgirl, and I'm more than certain a few people around me were like, oh no, here we go again.
That guy's gonna get out of his car and start shooting people if it stops again.
Oh no.
Yeah.
He's
Like that
right
Falling
boy.
Down movie with Michael Douglas did that movie Falling Down.
Yeah.
Robinson called it Angry White Boy, honey.
Ow. So, after the three of you are sat down, you're also given the same menu, in addition to the fact that there is a pretty open drink list. Lestrin is currently enjoying a pale ale from Soulforge known as the Iron Reaver's Revenge. It is a triple IPA.
Nice.
Is it even pale at that point?
Yeah, technically. I mean, it's not a quad. And
Well, I'm
Latham,
ordering a black banana and a boar steak. That's what I'm doing.
all right.
Can I get like a black banana, but not with alcohol?
Oh, a banana daiquiri. Yes, we can get that for you.
Tiny.
Yes, Tiny said that was the yummy one. And he said you guys make excellent food, so I'll trust you on food-wise.
She gives a nod and just, what's your tastes?
Candy.
Tiny.
Tiny.
Thank you.
I love both of these bands, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're fine with that second one. Because, yeah, it's rocking. They're having a good time.
Sorry, all that's playing is There Might Be Giants.
Oh.
They're definitely not giants.
Lolly, after staring at you evenly for a pretty long moment, she goes, well, do you want to try the ginger stew?
Yes, please. And if you could, pour 6 or 7 scoops of sugar in there, that'd be even better.
She writes down a really odd note. You can see her facial structure go from, okay. Oh, God, the chef's going to be mad. So,
Thank you!
finally comes to Jyotis.
Les, what's good here?
I'm going to point at what I have.
Yeah, Les has 2 servings of boar steak, and it's just, it's like a side hawk, so it is huge.
Yeah, I'll have at least one of those. Latham, what have you tried the banana drink yet?
So I have. I don't know if it's good.
Latham, to briefly describe your whiskey, Because did you go whiskey or banana drink?
I thought the whiskey was a weird one. I think I went banana drink, actually.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
So
we're feeling tropical.
Banana drink is this weird mix of it starts off sweet, gets to really savory, and then has a little bit of pucker mixed in too. There's clearly black rum, ginger beer, like a good dark ginger beer for a little bit of sugar and a little bit of zing, and then plantain and banana liqueur to help balance it out. And then they add just a smidge of lime juice, and then there's obviously a flambe plantain stuck into it and stirred around, and that's the stir stick, basically.
I'm okay with all of that. I mean,
So
sounds like
when you come in, you see me wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
With little skulls.
My
on it.
jacket,
Yeah,
my
I'll
jacket is now open is now a Hawaiian shirt.
I'll have a big helping of the boar steak and at least 3 of those banana drinks.
Understood, sir. She goes to go and get your guys' orders in, and yours show up pretty quickly. Lolly, your sugar stew, because the chef demanded that the name be changed from a ginger stew to a sugar stew, comes out. And
There's a reason why I don't have front teeth, guys.
yep, it is at this point candied eel and ginger. Like, it's very sweet.
Mm.
Candied eel and ginger.
It's again, it's a little bit like unagi, but
Yeah, right
with
now
all
that
the sugar you
glaze,
added.
Yeah, and a little soy.
Yeah. But with all the sugar you added, it is definitely candied at this point.
Ugh.
You say that, but eel and pumpkin is delicious.
Mhm.
I mean,
No, unagi's amazing.
I
Unagi
love
power.
unagi.
Unagi power.
Salmon skin roll. Anyways, yes.
I remember how
definitely-
nervous you guys were about giving me that the first time.
I think it was Brit that convinced you to try it, because she did that to me, where she was like, "I'm not telling you what this is. Eat it." Like,
Don't just eat it.
and I was like, "Well, it's not fugu." Okay.
I was like, well, I'll try that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because how do you tell somebody who's like never eaten like real sushi before? Oh yeah, eat this slippery eel thing. It's barbecue.
I mean,
Sushi.
I mean, if they're willing to try,
as I admit that as a teenager, I did not have that advanced of a palate, but as an adult, I would.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I tried it and loved it, and that was, what being a teenager was.
I mean, I'm lovingly been referred to since the '80s, since the commercial was the thing when I said, "Give it to Mikey, he'll try anything." That's always been me.
Yeah, that's two of us.
All right, well,
I still,
back in game.
to this day here, Mikey likes it all the frickin' time.
Yep.
Jesus.
Can I also get some boiled rice with this? Seems like it'd be delicious together.
She gives a nod and just, did you want sugar in the boiled rice?
Yes, and a little rice vinegar too.
Writes down notes again. I'll be back. It's like,
Take
there's
it.
such a sadness of dealing with the chef.
Why
that
Why didn't you just order rice pudding, Lolly?
Because that has egg in it and cream.
You don't like egg and cream?
No, I just wanted rice. You're weird.
You're weird.
Your face is weird.
Which, Lesterin, my question for you is, are you drinking through your sippy straw? Because you had a beard straw.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely.
The sleight of beard.
Yeah, slight of beard.
Yes.
Oh goodness. Jyotis is just gonna lean over to Garret and be like, "We need to talk when we get to the boat." about some things. Privately,
That sounds
preferably with
ominous.
yeah. It was a feeling I got with the tower when we went by the lighthouse.
Ah. Noted. Well, we'll go back in the morning and relieve Echo,
Right.
and actually we'll bring in the boat. I trust that dockman because we paid.
Yeah, Varn seems like should we call him Varn or should we call him by the
No,
other name?
he is the Dark Tide.
Dark Tide seems like good stuff.
The Dark Tide of Pier 36. That is what we shall call him, unless somebody else refers to him by name.
Right.
Names have power.
Yes, they do. Speaking of names have power, do you suppose the goblins that are mentioned in town have any relation to the goblins we know?
Well, they do
I'm
have
sure
a
that we
sister
can-
tribe. Maybe this is their brother's or uncle's tribe.
Maybe.
Cousins, I
Maybe.
imagine. But we should investigate. We have an inn, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. So what are we going to do first after we get the two sailors to their guild hall tomorrow? Are we going to talk to the pretty hag? Or are we going to follow up on some of the other things?
Take care of the hag first, because those children have less time than the rest of our missions.
Absolutely.
As you guys are kind of talking about them, Halkus looks up from his meal, and he's been eating slowly because he has to keep checking in with Creme and making sure they're eating. And he's been like having to remind them, like, you have to eat. Bite, 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 bite. Just very quietly so as not to bug anyone. And when you kind of mention them, that's the first time he pays a little bit of attention. We should probably talk about that now, actually. I'm sorry, we were shell-shocked earlier.
It's completely understandable.
Yeah.
Lots happened.
Yenfir Seekers doesn't have a formal guild here, and we were hired by Magister Grimsby to go rock hunting.
Intriguing.
He's not known to be terribly kind to people who fail him.
Well, then we shouldn't bring you back to him.
Or not? How would you like to go about this business? We can take you to your friends first, and then they can give you the support. Or if you need us to explain the situation, vouch for you, or I don't know, be backup.
Trying to
Right.
smooth it over would probably be for the best. With all the command crew gone, maybe we'll just get off with a fine.
It's
Kind
still
of lean over a little bit. It's like, do we need to search for evidence against him regarding the previous package?
Mm-hmm.
This could be this is a way inside the house.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Another thing to discuss.
We could also
We've secured
potentially.
us.
Well, I was going to say we could also potentially, say that all hands were lost. If they really, I don't feel like them getting a fine should be the end of this.
A rough circumstance. An opportunity to get inside the house and look around would be very useful.
Indeed.
But who among us is the most able to remain undetected?
Oh gosh.
Boing, boing, boing.
Lollies.
Actually be me.
Lolly's
might actually
sugar
be
boiled rice with a splash of rice vinegar arrives.
It might actually be Lolly with illusion or disguise self or something of that nature.
Latham has the intern as well.
Yes.
Yes, I do have the intern as well, and like
Captain
also probably
Pancake
talk my
can
way
also
through.
investigate.
And
That is
and
very true.
Latham definitely has the charm.
Definitely. And Captain Pancakes can do a little bit of reconnaissance, scratch the cat's head.
Cat gives you a row and like points a paw at the steak.
A very cut off a couple of very small nubs and put them on the bench for him.
Yeah, and you know that familiars shouldn't have to eat, but Captain Pancakes, he chooses to.
I mean,
Yeah.
he lives up to his name.
Yeah.
What, a gluten allergy? This is my cat, Celiac.
Oh dear.
Meet my new familiar, potassium sorbate.
Pass it.
This is monosodium glutamate, known as MSG.
All right, meme lords.
Fuyo!
Was there anything else you guys wanted to do tonight?
Enjoy those
No.
ginger beers
Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure
I'll-
Jyotis loves those.
I've secured us lodging for tonight, so in the morning we will see about handling the meeting with Lord Grimsby. I think we
Yeah,
should plan for Latham and myself to go in for sure. Lolly,
Mhm.
you're definitely charming, but you're also very, very obvious. So I think we should leave this to the two of us
Oh,
with our new friends.
obvious.
It's okay. Maybe
That's
perhaps
not a
we
bad thing, but in this situation, you're very memorable.
I could disguise myself.
Can you remain quiet unless spoken to? And not tell him, yeah, we're here to find out what you did with the Snallygaster!
Okay, you're right. That is an impossible task.
Exactly.
Lolly, you can stay here with me.
Okay.
Exactly. Lesterin definitely would love to spend the day with you. I'm sure Lesterin would happily take you to the Bazaar to buy as much candy as you can carry.
Yeah.
Ooh,
We can do that, Lolly. Totally.
okay.
And shouldn't we go to see the hag
Yes.
old lady?
I think we
the
should
hag
You want to go
We
to
should do
that
that
together?
together.
and shopping.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lolly, you and I will wait to go see the hag, but we will definitely go shopping.
Okay.
Definitely.
Shall I go help Echo get the boat in while y'all do this?
But I'm going to go with you to do that because
Okay.
it takes, it's best to have at least 3 hands to take care of everything.
Indeed. Well, where do you want
Possible for you for 2, but I think it best because you wanted to discuss something else while we were out on the boat anyway.
Yes, it's probably something we should tell the rest of the squad, but I'll tell you first for sure.
Yeah, 2 birds, 1 stone there.
Do we have tribute to bring over to Vault of the Kai?
As you guys did not bring any supplies into town, you do not owe tribute. So,
Excellent.
Always good to say hello, but yeah, we only owe tax tribute on goods that we're trading.
Cool. Well, where do you want me when you guys go to the mansion then? I can go with Lestrin, or I could be support on the street somehow.
Well, I'm sure you would benefit from a shopping trip if necessary. You
Sure.
have other options if you like. Just don't worry if you feel like just resting or hanging out on the boat.
Yeah, I might hang out with Echo a little bit on the boat.
Yeah, where you feel that you can be the most of the most use is the best place for you to be. But you are also one who is very obvious. And
Yeah, I'm not charismatic. I know that.
as charming as you might be, you are also easily spotted from a great distance away.
What, the fish guy?
Exactly. I am rather boring in appearance, and Latham is incredibly good at talking. So
Yes.
I think we are probably the best to go in. And he has his intern, and I have Captain Pancakes here.
Still love that name, Captain Pancakes.
I do too, actually.
Holocaust kind of looks around and just, is there anything you want to know about this town? I've been here a fair few times before, and I'm willing
We
to
would
try to help.
appreciate a rundown.
So, first things first. The local police forces, they're called the Hangmen. They're only called if the sentence is death. Now, there's almost two separate towns here. The town we're in right now is Trinispad. To the west is Westward. That's a Corsair area that's set up to their own rules and regulations and tends to be a bit more lawful, but also expensive because it's safe. He pauses for a moment and just, I'm doing a bad job of this, sorry. Technically speaking, everything in Trinispad is legal so long as you've done it for a reason or don't get caught. The townspeople themselves tend to punish thieves. If you kill someone, you'd better have a reason and a witness. And the one law this town does maintain is what's called grave law. If you kill someone, you either have to pay to have them buried or dig their grave yourself.
I'm going AFK for a minute.
Well, that's
No worries.
fun.
Seems reasonable.
He shrugs and just, it cut murder rates by over 50%.
I mean,
no, I don't think burying was the problem.
50%? That's impressive. People are that lazy?
Gives you this big nod, like people here tend to be drunk, gambling on the outs for the most part. Grimsby keeps this town mostly in perpetual chaos.
It's one way to do it.
Also, whatever you do, other than Grimsby, most dangerous person in town is the person who runs the free docks. They call him Darktide Cinerak.
Oh.
It's Cinerak.
Isn't that the guy?
We were not Dark Tide of Pier 36.
No.
Yeah.
Dark Tides are a title. They're smugglers commonly.
Okay.
So if they introduce themselves as a Dark Tide, that just describes that their job specializes in smuggling and stealing from ships that don't pay tribute.
Aha.
Okay, I am so glad we left it with the right valet.
If you get a Dark Tide's word, you're safe. If you don't, that boat is a target.
What did you say the name was again? Dark Tide?
Cinerak.
Cinerak.
And I'll spell it out for you really quick. It's spelled much like how it sounds.
Cinerak. Oh, I was close. I had it with a C.
Oh, it. Mm.
Mm.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Hello.
We just learned that Dark Tide Cinerak is no one to trifle with, and he runs the free docks.
Otherwise, at one point or another, the Malachite Coil will probably try to talk to you because they're a local religion that's a bit off kilter. They're harmless. They mostly worship out of that damn lighthouse, but they're weird.
Religion or cult?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean,
Like, yeah, and Krima, for their credit, just gives this big nod, like the first interaction they've shown during this time. And Hulkus kind of turns to Krima and is like, yeah, I know. Krima's family joined a while ago.
Oh,
Not great business.
what can you tell us about? Is there anything to tell about them?
They're weird. They think that the ocean is the greatest thing, and they think that there is something out in a trench that will grant life, boons, and technology that will help us survive and endure.
In
When he says that, you see Yoda's face get long.
or like, okay, not gonna question that.
Yoda's face just got long and serious, and maybe snarly a little bit. What trench?
I don't know. And Krima starts tapping their spoon against the table. Oh! And you realized after a second that they were basically doing some sort of code with the tap. And Hulkus gives a nod and just... apparently they think that there's some creature within the trench of Lossoth that is a granter of boons.
Mhm.
It's silly.
Quite.
If there was something down there, it wouldn't care about petty mortals like us.
Right.
Don't be
some
too sure.
places they call it Pazuzu, and others they
No.
call it,
It's not Pazuzu.
others they call
But-
it Jeff the Dow. There's all kinds of those creeps everywhere.
Yes. Well, sometimes there's a little truth to every legend.
Hulkus gives a shrug and just... I don't know anything about it, and I know that sailing over deep sea trenches when there are plenty of underwater terrors is a bad idea.
Well, I'm going to advise you to keep your distance from them. I'm sure you already have that advice.
He gives a nod and just, yes, I'm not going to... Look, storms are bad. Trinisbad is not known for leaving people with money, but I'm not turning to some cult to solve that problem.
Good.
would not recommend.
Were you in a cult before, Latham?
Jyotis just looks over at Lolly and raises an eyebrow.
Went to college. I mean, there's always someone.
Cold enough.
He looks back at Latham and just like, well, maybe.
You know, you're wandering around campus, somebody pushes a piece of paper in your hand, and you're like, okay.
Guess I'm in a cult now. Oh, darn.
Free pizza night, okay.
The hell is Scientology?
I'm only here for the free food.
Exactly.
Right.
Shin Yun.
Yes.
So, with that, your meals get finished, drinks are had. They offer to put essentially this on your tab with the room and just bill you at the end, or you can either pay tonight. It's about 5.5 gold for the whole meal and drinks and everything else.
Put it on
I see.
tab.
I'll handle I'll go ahead and handle. God, I wrote their names down. The two half-elf friends. I wrote them down, but I don't know what page they're on. So I'm
Creamy and Halkus.
Yeah, Creme and Halkus. I'll go ahead and take care of theirs tonight,
Mhm.
and then that way it's done, and nobody has to worry about it.
Both of them give you a deep bow.
After what you've been through, you need something in your bellies and a good night's sleep. It's the least we can do, considering how little we could do on the sea.
Halkus has this long pause and just, you do realize that the sea is, as much as it's beauty, it's danger. A sailor down on their luck is down on their luck, but this is not your fault.
I understand this rationally, but not emotionally. You are under our protection.
Is it the first you've lost?
The first of this.
Sorry, Mikey, you broke up there?
The first of this weight.
I understand.
Gravity.
I understand. As an old deckhand, I normally, take in all the new ones and guide them. They don't all make it. But that's the first ship I, too, have lost, so... Creamy just gives this slow nod. Then Halkus turns back and just... I know. Halkus looks back and just... If Creamy could talk, they would say, don't dig your own grave. It's hard enough losing everyone. But if the people that saved us tear themselves to pieces, that would be a whole new level of suffering.
I tend to agree with them, Gary. I have suffered much loss, and blaming yourself for simple happenstances really rough. You have to find a way to let it go.
I understand this. The losses I have suffered have been less drastic. If that makes sense. I walked away from my life. I walked away from my family. I walked away from a lot of things to find something better, less poisonous. But that doesn't make it easy to watch somebody that you were offering a hand to get swallowed.
Halkus raises his drink to that.
I have a propensity to protect. It's one of the reasons I needed to get away from the family. I wasn't selfish enough to fall into the family business. So, losing my charge, it tears at me a little bit more than I think I was prepared for. And I raise my cup in reply.
Yeah.
Cheers, Gary.
But it's still a fresh wound.
Well, the Silver Storm Seekers still saved us.
And that's not worth nothing.
Exactly.
That's worth a lot. Well, we're based out of Alara Samal. If there's ever a time that you want to seek us out, you can find us there. Speak to Farkas in the Dingy Bird.
Understood.
Fairness. That's what I wrote down the name Farkas a while back for something else.
And it just stuck.
It's all good.
Yeah.
I was going to say, this isn't Shrek.
No, I wrote it down as an NPC for my hex crawl campaign that I'm working on.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So that was just like 2 or 3 days ago. I wrote that down, and it's just it's there.
It happened.
No worries. So, if everyone's all done, you all go to bed. The night passes. Lolly.
Mm-hmm.
Lolly.
Mm-hmm.
Roll me a d20, please.
For how awesome I sleep. Oh, a natural 20.
Okay. So,
Very well.
yeah, you sleep great. In fact, as you fall asleep, sugar going through your system, occasionally jittering, but in the meantime, happy and content, and snuggling into your cloak of great comforts, you wake up in the Starsea again. And this time, you're in front of the chest, and it's open. And it looks like Molly is looking at it. And she's in her younger form, so possibly between the ages of 4 and 5. Young, slender, her head shaved, freshly, and wearing just simple yet ornate gray robes. She's looking at it and gets a little closer to it and just, I don't know, Lolly. This one's weird.
Right? Thanks for answering, by the way.
Well, I can't always answer. It's hard, but
Oh, that's why I'm thanking you.
I know you were afraid.
I'm just scared that we're going to lose it or hurt it or do something wrong with it.
In here it's safe, but there's definitely going to be people after it. It is alive in its own right. And I probably can't tell you much beyond that, but whoever it's connected to is still alive, but it's got a life of its own. It's weird.
Is it a good person life?
That's difficult to tell, Lolly. Good is a matter of choice and a matter of perspective. You know, helping people, helping children, making the world a better place for other people. Those are things that we consider good. But observe different cultures. For example, that UNT you interacted with. They have a concept of good, but it's very different from many other cultures. In this regard, I do not know if this heart is a creature of the world or of one of the outer worlds. But it is an object of power, and I am glad you are protecting it.
Okay. Do you think I could use some of my magic to kind of find more answers about it? Like, I think I could use, like, some pearl magic and do identify on it.
That may be possible to get you some sort of information about it. But more likely, this is the kind of object that may require additional power in order to get a full story on. Either that or you may have to trade for information.
Okay.
Knowledge is power, but I wish I could help more. I don't know what this is. It's new. Well, new in my perspective.
Oh, okay.
She just looks up at you and just, are you okay?
Yeah, just trying to help people out.
Okay. Well, remember, helping people is the best way to make sure that we leave the world a better place. And
Yeah.
I really, really, really appreciate that you helped those goblin children.
Right.
And the human children.
Oh, of course. We're gonna go check on the prettiest hag tomorrow. And she's
Good.
probably gonna tell us how to fix it. Otherwise, apparently we could, like, ride Lestred into the storm and try and wrestle out a time elemental or an astral elemental.
A space-time elemental is no simple thing to face. If you choose to fight one of those, do so at a distance. If it hits you or any of your friends, it can change their age.
Oh, neat. I mean, bad. I have older.
She gives a nod, like, yeah. And not to mention, if it makes you younger, bad things could also happen. I think you're an actual living being. I think the will sculpting worked on you, despite being different, but it's complicated. And I would be afraid of that. She shudders visibly.
Or what if it makes me like adulty size and then they have to take me seriously and tell me all their secrets that they keep trying to hide from me of like, when you get older, you'll understand.
Oh, they're talking about sex. Humans are stupid. They think that it's this big thing that no one educates each other about. But you remember how Gith culture was actually open and we reviewed things like that?
Look in that book.
Yes, exactly.
And all like the pictures of the organs and the hearts and
how we lay the eggs and yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh,
stupid.
Yeah, people are dumb.
Yeah. But we still love them.
Yes, absolutely. All right.
Well,
we are going to rescue some goblin children in the morning and figure out what that heart's going to be and come find you.
She gives a smile and just, all right, Lolly. If I find anything, I'll tell you one way or another. But
awesome.
But you've got to be careful in trying to find information on this.
Yeah.
Because there's few people who you can trust with that knowledge of what you have.
Yeah, Gary was super smart. He was like, hey, close that box because it's supposed to not be scryed on.
Yep. I love you, Lolly.
Love you too.
You stay safe, okay?
You too. We're coming.
She runs up, gives you a big old hug. Well, for her, it's a small hug. And right as she's sinking into you and you've just got that warm, comfortable feeling, you hear, and then you wake up because it's the morning. And at first you're like, oh, crackers. But no, there is hundreds of macaws that are just all going off like,
yay!
And some of them are even singing songs from the night before. A few of them.
We have like a fruit basket or something in here.
Oh yeah,
I definitely throw them some fruit.
This is a well-established room, and the dormitory is relatively open air, where the macaws kind of fly in, come and like land, and then fly back off.
They have no control over their bowels. Whee!
Well, the bedrooms have roofs for that exact reason. But in the meantime, the dormitory area is clearly meant to be kind of that, like, whoa, this is a bird sanctuary, a safe place.
I throw open the doors and start offering them bits of fruit. And luring them into the place so that everyone can see all these beautiful birds along with crackers.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the rest of you, it is sunrise. And the audibility and shrieking and like, pretty bird, like just all these calls.
Come have breakfast with us. And yes, they totally understand that.
Yep. 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 All of you get the screaming macaw wake up.
Guys, I invented a game. It's called Find the Familiar.
I'm up. I'm up.
Down.
I'm
Morning,
condensing
all.
as many as I can onto my arms and
Roll me a D100.
yay.
Oh my goodness.
Just playing with them and having a good time. 53.
There are 53 macaws in the dormitory area right now, just flapping around constantly. You have about 10 that constantly land on you and check in. It's the worst version of a Disney princess.
Yay! They're nuzzling me with their beaks.
Yeah, Lolly's happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. This is Lolly's version up top, and this is what everybody else sees.
Yep. What Lolly sees, what everyone else sees. Oh, God.
They are bitey little bastards. They don't like you.
Yep.
You're welcome.
So, the day is yours. What would you like to do, macaw?
The things we said.
All right. Well, let's get started then with Jyotis and Gary going out to the boat.
Yeah.
And moving into the dock.
Yeah.
Let's do the dinghy conversation first.
Yep. Yeah, you meet up with Varn. He gives you your dinghy back, and in the meantime, just gives a pleasant bow and departs into the water before you guys can say much more to him.
Wait, he went into the water?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just walked in?
Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah, he's still wearing that poncho with the hooded cloak over it. So the most you've seen of him is those green and blue scaly hands. But yeah, when he walks into the water, he just whoosh, gone.
Intriguing.
Amazing.
Right. So me and Garret are in the boat on the way to the boat. Hey, Gary.
Pancakes.
You remember my stories about how I lost a ship? And he reaches inside of his chest and pulls out his necklace that he wears at all times. This is from that ship. It's part of the steering column. I'm quite certain that the Malachites are worshipping the thing that brought this ship down. Not 100% certain, but kind of certain. Because remember, what's that?
Tovadina.
Yes.
What you would, yes.
And it coincides with what I had mentioned to you that I need to tell you. The funny feeling I got when we went by that lighthouse. You remember I told you I was contacted by my sister while I was upgrading the ship, while you guys had all come back to Alaris Amal?
I believe so, yes. Yeah.
My sister is that creature, turns out it's her patron. I'm going to do my best to see if I can help her get out of its servitude and maybe into the servitude of something better, but there's
difficult.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a lot more truth than they think there is behind this. Speaking from
Everyone
experience.
thinks the religious are a little bit crazy who don't follow their religion.
Right. And my sister is in town here somewhere. So it makes sense that the Malachites.
Will you be seeking her while we're around?
I haven't seen her yet, but she did tell me that I mean, I might to consult her about what's going on up there, and she's probably a good resource. So, but she did say that she would know if I was in town. So, hopefully she seeks out me first.
Interesting.
But we should definitely let the others know.
Aye. Noted. Definitely have to explain some more of that.
And it's likely a kraken, but it's not just your average drake kraken. It has...
Yes, Kraken's average.
Well, not right. He visibly laughs at that. Well, I mean, as average krakens go, compared to other krakens, this one is much more powerful, much more sinister, otherworldly sorts.
But I've always heard them referred to in the singular, with a definite pronoun. So, a definite
The
article.
kraken. Yes, indeed.
The Kraken. So just learning that there are more than one, and this one is above average, is just a little bit unsettling, I might say.
Right.
On that bombshell, as soon as we're within about 100 feet of the boat, I'm going to pull out a copper wire and cast message to Echo and let her know that we're coming aboard.
You hear kind of
So
a
she
sleepy,
doesn't
like,
shoot us.
oh, all right. Okay. Yep, cool. And you see that the image that she maintains was standing on the ballista. And so this tired version of Echo walks out, ruffles a hand through her hair, offers to help you two bring up the boat. It's just, where's the rest of the party?
Oh, they're still in town. I secured a stockage.
Oh, good. All right.
So we're going to move. The three of us are going to move the boat in. I'd still like somebody to stay with the boat most nights, but I'll stay on the boat tonight so that you can avail yourself of the beds.
Thanks. Where do you guys get a place at?
The... Sorry.
Cool tree
Where's
house?
my note?
The cool treehouse, yeah. The Rebel Blossom Tavern.
That's
Okay.
the one.
All right. I think I can navigate down there.
Wow.
We're
You
going
guys
to
didn't
need
cause
to,
any trouble
if
last
you
night,
don't-
did you?
Quite the opposite. We seem to have made a pretty decent impression on some folk.
At least
that's
If you
good.
don't mind, though, could you stay with the boat throughout the earlier part of the day? We have a few errands that we need to run before I can relieve you completely.
Yeah, you're fine. I'll stay with the boat.
And I'll come back to help escort you. Or, just go with you back to
You're
the
going to
tavern.
come be an escort for me, Jyotis?
I
She
mean,
lifts an eyebrow. Like, this is that kind of town. But I didn't realize that's the kind of work you're pursuing. I think the dry paddle is the place, and she, blushes for just a second. Heard of?
Intriguing. No, well, it turns out our room has a interesting amenity.
In Trinispad, you need to explain that. Because that's either a bed of cocaine or other drug.
No. It was some form of bath that was unisex.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty common here. There's also a lot of sulfur springs.
Cool.
There's also the problem with the room being open to birds.
Macaws in the morning.
And lots of birds.
So
And-
don't get too drunk and be hungover.
Right.
Precisely, because as soon as first light starts creeping over, they start shrieking for food.
And Lolly loves birds.
And
She-
Lolly.
She
Looks
And
over
Lolly.
at Chuggers that is just.
I stopped counting at 30 birds that she had around her.
Right. Eldritch Horror Nightmare. Got it. Understood. But bed's a bed.
Exactly.
They were
And
good.
the food is good and the booze is good. Just don't go overboard because you'll hate yourself as soon as the birds start shrieking.
Understood. Thank you for
Yeah. They are beautiful, at least, but annoying to listen to.
My
Right.
sister.
Well, I'll wait here, and when you either want to come replace me or escort me, she kind of giggles again under her breath.
You see Jyotis just kind of like, oh, dear.
I'll be here.
Well done.
We're going to move. We need your help to move the boat in because it's just the three of us.
Yeah, that's fine. And she kind of snaps to her echo and like, let's get to work. And sure enough, the four of you, technically, bring in the... Yeah, no, like, she does this thing where she can basically trade places with it. So she is highly effective at bringing in a boat because she can grab the rope, send the echo out, throw the rope, replace herself there, catch the rope, tie the rope off, and then bamf back onto the boat. Like, it's
Echo.
pretty impressive watching her work.
That's pretty awesome.
I came very close to playing that class.
Mm-hmm.
So, the boat is docked.
If he's around, I introduce Echo to Varn.
Yeah, Varn is around, and Varn just gives Echo a nod and just, rare to see the Genasi out here. She just kind of shrugs. Just, well, I get around.
Jyotis looks at her and raises an eyebrow.
She gives Jyotis a very even stare and just, not one word, escort, not one word.
Uh-huh.
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 Varn, meanwhile, gives his bow, helps with making sure the boat is secure, points at the docks, and speaks to Echo in a somewhat hushed tone about what to watch for. And then, after that, gives a bow again and departs back into the water. And Echo kind of walks up towards Gary and Jyotis and just in quiet huddle goes like, all right, he said some shady figures are coming in on dock 38, but the free docks is relatively peaceful under normal circumstances. And if they try us to assault the boat, I will send a message. So,
Much appreciated.
no worries. Varn,
We'll get here as quickly as possible if that comes up.
yeah. Varn also stated that he'll let me know if we need to pay Pier 38 to maintain their safety. She gives the index finger on the nose point of like
Quotes.
yeah.
Air quotes.
Strong emphasis.
Safety.
Protection. It's
Yeah. So, with that, I believe Lolly and Lestrin were going shopping.
Shopping.
Yep.
Candy.
So, the Bizarre Bazaar is an open-air market that lives up to its name because there are all sorts of different animals, furs, trade goods from all around the world. Like, you even see some trinkets like the oryx horn of the far north and
Oh man, they have bat
things.
soup here.
What was that?
Oh man, they have bat soup here.
Let's bypass that one.
Good variety of orcish weapons also. As you're kind of looking around, you do see a merchant that is definitely dwarvish because he is of equal height with Lestrin. Much, much wider, though. This gentleman is rotund, to say the least. His beard is big and bushy. Right? What was that?
Nose pick or whatever?
Pickbeard. Yes.
Okay.
Big, black, bushy beard that looks almost like it's steel wool. And in the meantime, he's got some balding hair up top, where the sides are thick and black, but the top is very thin. Like, there's a few wisps up there that he is denying having baldness with. His clothing is that of very, very traditional mining gear, but Lestrin, you would know this. It's too clean. Mm-hmm. Like, he's not dirty or scruffy in the least bit, and you can't work in a mine and stay clean. So even though he's got the overalls and the undershirt and the safety work boots that you normally need for, like, good shoes is a miner's best friend, but it's all too new. His displays, though, look quite nice. He's got a lot of uncut gems just basically set up in a 3-tier display case that's posted with kind of a wraparound, and he's standing in the center of it, and he's got a couple of goblins with him that are holding what look like clubs and just kind of beating their hands. And whenever customers approach, he tells the goblins, like, hey, scoot off, scoot. And so when he sees the two of you, and he's, oi, fellow dwarf, how are you? Need some rocks.
More like rock candy.
Yes.
Something like that, at least.
But
raises an eyebrow.
Wait, sir, not to generalize about dwarves, but do you sell fine jewels and jewelry?
Oh.
Told to ask for nose pick?
Pick beard. He lifts his beard up and actually pulls a pickaxe out from under it.
What? Whoa.
Light of beard.
That is so clever.
Yep, I sell rare gemstones. I don't do jewelry because, and he kind of leans into you, Lolly, and just, that's a good way to get yourself robbed in Trinisbad, so you don't wear jewelry in the great outdoors or show it off. And then he leans back and just, but I do sell gemstones, and also I give tours of the Thornwater mine behind that waterfall, and you can go digging for your own gemstones if you'd like.
Oh.
Cool.
First of all, yes. But I actually need a couple of really specific things. Do you have, like, an identify charm with a pearl? If I had to give it, like, a jewelry grade, I'd say 100 on the GP scale, and an owl feather. And do you have, like, revivify diamonds? Like, just kind of like rough cut 300 GP ones?
Gives you a long sigh and just, well, the pearl, the Gettizia's left some pearls that I have on hand and can sell you. Good price. Mm-hmm. As for an owl feather, he turns over towards the goblins and just, find the lady an owl feather and tell me how much we owe. And they just nod and scamper. They'll get that for you. Don't worry about a feather. Okay. You're buying rare gems. A job to take care of you. And he waddles over towards one of the rocks. And these are all kind of like shiny, glowing rocks that he's got spread out. And he brings the axe down and just kind of taps on one, and it splits. And inside, he picks out 3 diamonds. These are gems I rough cut specifically for spell work. They should be more than good enough for what you need, but I'm going to tell you right now, there's a premium on these.
Oh?
The Valerines have been marking up gems of diamond, and the Dejani have been buying them all up.
Okay, sorry, writing this down. Valerines? Is that like...
Yeah. They run the main mine on Summerheart. They have access to the fattest diamond mine there is. These are not from this island, but I've got a few of them, and I do a nice job selling them.
Okay. Well, so there's a diamond mine on Summerheart. All right, I'll take those. And then she opens up her purse and goes, on layaway?
He giggles and, oh, I'm sorry, dear. I don't do layaway, but I'll let you work for them.
Yes. Absolutely. Wait, how long would I have to work for them? Because we kind of have to go see somebody in town and...
Oh, I'm talking about if you can go into the mine for me and mine some gemstones of equivalent value, I'll call it a fair trade.
Awesome. Yes.
I do need to warn you that the mines sometimes get a little dangerous.
Is that okay, Lestrid?
Yeah, I think as a group we can handle that, Lolly.
We're adventurers. We can do dangerous for breakfast, sir.
He gives a nod and just, well then, I have no doubts that you can do it.
Would you also like some barter? And I kind of reach into my pouch and kind of furtively glance around, making a big show of it. And I pull out the Fey coral chunk.
He raises an eyebrow. Fey-tide trinket, huh?
Yeah.
I'll say that's worth 100 gold.
Okay. Could I trade you for the pearl, since they're already going to get the owl feather? I feel kind of obligated to give you that.
Yes, I'll accept that as trade for the pearl.
Okay.
And he reaches under one of the cabinets and opens this little box, and you see that it has the Getty Zia's symbol on it.
Ooh.
Pops it open. Do you prefer black or opal pearlescent color?
Ooh. Which one's shiniest?
Both of them. And he holds them both up, and one is white and gleaming, and the other is this midnight black, but it shines in this sunlight.
Ooh, that one.
Gives you a nod, hands you the black one. Good trade, good trade.
Okay.
And he puts on gloves, carefully takes the ethereal coral.
Okay. Okay, yes, we would definitely like to do the mines. And then you said you had a little fun sluice box that we could try our hand at?
Yep. Over under the waterfall.
Okay. And how much is that?
Oh, that's just 25 gold. And basically you sluice for an hour, see what you get, and what you get you keep.
Okay. Do you want to try it?
Lolly?
Uh-huh.
No, Lolly, let's just try our hand in the mine, okay?
But why not both? I'm gonna try. Come on.
At least in the mine there's a guarantee we're gonna find something.
How do you know that? Come on, let's try it, Les. You could watch over
I'll
my
explain
shoulder.
it to you later, Lolly.
No, this is totally that kid at the fair who's like, oh my gosh, we could totally go jet diving for gemstones.
No,
I'll
What's in my
totally
brain?
get that goldfish with just one more ping pong ball.
Exactly. Yes. No. Then
No,
she's
no,
totally,
Lolly.
she hands over 2 plat and 5 gold, and she's in it.
Okay, and he hands you a little stone tablet the size of a card, like basically like a credit card sized stone tablet. And hand this to my little compatriot up there. Calls himself Bush.
Whoosh.
Bush.
Whoosh. Okay. Let's do it, Les.
I'll
I
go
bet
with
you'll be
you.
really good at it.
Okay.
So, in essence, you guys walk around Thornwater Lake and up behind the waterfall, and sure enough, there is a goblin that looks bored on the job, but is actively paying attention, just sitting there twiddling one thumb and one stump. And it's wearing this nice ornate red cap and what are very clearly its own repurposed dwarven overalls that aren't quite as well cut, but it's trying. And when it sees the two of you, it just... Did Pickbeard give you a card, or are you just here to bug me? Because I don't have cards, and you need a card to dig.
Yes, I have a card, and I present to it. Thank you, Mr. Bush.
Oh, good. Runs up, grabs it, and you know my name. Oh, I love it when people say my name right.
You're a goblin, right?
He looks around, he's like, is the jungle green? So am I.
Cool. Can you tell me about Hack Mooch?
Yeah. It's where I live, where most of us goblins live, because even though we're accepted in Trinisbad, we're not accepted in Trinisbad as much as the humans want to claim. We're just their fodder. But right now, we're actually picking up and getting better. We got a new leader. Name is Meek. Meek is fantastic. No one messes with us anymore. The Malachites leave us alone. And if we get a good truce going with the grinning, with the prettiest hag, we're in it.
Ooh. So Meek is your leader?
Yeah.
And you guys are trying to do like a deal with the prettiest hag? Oh, we're trying to talk to her later. Maybe we could put in a good word.
Oh, that'd be great, because, again, Meek's relatively new, so whereas we feel safe and protected, which he kind of looks around, it's like, I don't know if anyone's told you, but this city, especially at night, is dangerous.
And
he's starting to set up the sluice trough for you and starting to get things ready to go, and you even see him kick a couple of things that start to like, and it's like those rock tumblers for kids.
Yeah.
Only entirely made of wood. And he turns back around and just, all right, so supposedly the Thornwater estate was the richest people here when they were alive, because they could literally get gold and gems out of the waterfall, because this is apparently a huge mineral deposit back here. And whereas we have a mine operation, it's not big, and it's also on hiatus. So he points up and is like, this is your best bet. You get to sluice for an hour. Anything you get, you keep.
Ooh. Very cool. Well, I'm going to start sloshing around the water like he instructs. But I'm also kind of wheedling him for information. Like, what kind of deal does he want to make with the prettiest hag? And like...
He's like, I don't know about what kind of deal. I just know that an alliance would give us a lot more power against Cinerak and Grimsby. You gotta remember, this town is all about its gangs, and outside of the Stone Sea Gardens with the diggers, you've got problems everywhere. It wasn't very safe for us until Meek took over.
Cinerak and Grimsby, huh?
Yeah, they're equally selfish and, well, personally, I think that Grimsby keeps this town running on everyone backstabbing each other because he just likes the chaos. I don't know. Like, I've lived here. He counts on all fingers and he's like, I've lived here for 9 years and I can't tell you how crazy this town is. I thought goblin settlements were crazy until I lived here.
Oh man, tell me about it. We know like a couple of really cool goblins on Raisha, and we have like some friends that are over at Alarasa Mall that they're reestablishing after they got attacked, and it's just rough for goblins everywhere.
It is. We're labeled like pariahs.
Right? Just because you're a little short and green? That seems silly.
And because a lot of us steal shit.
Well, yeah. But I believe because you weren't given enough opportunities and you could be perfectly reasonable people. I've met a lot of really reasonable goblins.
Well, I've never met one of you, but I like you.
Oh, thanks.
Gives the machine a little extra nudge to give you a little bit of help with it. And go ahead and roll me a D100.
Okay. Uh, 93.
Wow. So, between
it's not
your
random ass tables.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Would you like
I'm
it to
sorry,
be?
I love you. Hi.
It is now.
Jesus
God.
criminy.
Why do I do this to me?
What's Gary's favorite saying? Why do you do this to we?
Why do you do this to we?
Oh, let's see. Now it's going to be a table.
I'm so sorry.
Damn it.
Anyways, what about your beautiful goblin town? Tell me more.
Oh, yeah. No, he goes over all sorts of facts about Hackmooch and basically gives you a couple of hints about Meek, that Meek is, even though he's good for goblins, he's not good. That's one of the things that you get from him, is that like Meek looks out for himself and basically has learned to be that being leader means that if he's a good leader, other goblins look out for him. So that's why he's being a leader at the moment.
Oh.
Stop licking.
Oh, I mean, he seems like he could at least be reasoned with. Tell you what, if I put in a good word with the prettiest tag, could you introduce me to Meek later?
Gives you a nod and just, yeah, I'll do it. I will remind you really quick that, again, Meek looks out for Meek, so you gotta make sure that you're, respecting him, which I know sounds weird, but trust.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I mean, I hope I don't come across as disrespectful.
No, not at all. He kind of chuckles and just, honestly, you're pretty great.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, so you find 11 pieces of onyx that are each worth 50 gold.
Holy cow.
And one of them is cursed, but I won't tell you which one.
Oh, no.
I'm joking.
Oh, boy.
I'm teasing, I promise.
So 50 gold.
Don't insult the random tables.
I'm sorry. Wow, holy cow.
But yeah.
How much did you get?
Your sluicing goes pretty well.
Score.
3?
Boosh, it was awesome talking to you.
Ah, thanks. And I'll put in a good word with Meek when I get off of my shift. But
Thanks.
But just remember, Meek looks out for Meek, which means Meek looks out for us. That's the key, all right?
Well,
oh, and
I'm
also,
just gonna say, so goes Caesar if y'all don't like him too much.
I don't know what that means, but
It's
also,
like a history
he's blue. Don't talk about it.
A blue goblin? That sounds cool.
Yeah, it is. At least I kind of want to be blue. Like, I think I'd be cool too. But
what does that mean? Like,
that you're cool.
I thought you were all green.
Well,
wow.
I don't know.
Wow.
If you can find a way to ask him without, he kind of shrugs and has that, like, I don't know how you ask a guy how he's blue without saying, like, hey, you're blue. But if you find out, sounds cool.
My God, you can't just ask people why they're white.
So,
I was just thinking about that.
with that, let's come to Gary and Latham.
Yes.
So, did you want to take these two with you to Grimsby's mansion?
Which two?
The half-elves.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
If they're willing to go, it's just
Yeah,
like explaining the circumstances and
yeah. Both of them wake up, and Hulkus is in better spirits. Creme is still. She still seems. They still seem a little bit sad and a little bit just melancholy. Like the macaws didn't bug them, but they were also just not eating until Hulkus physically handed them a mango and pushed it up towards their mouth. But they do come with you to join you in this endeavor. And outside the mansion, again, it's gauche, but badly done. It's like it tries so hard to be so fancy, but there's little creeping amounts of moss growing in places that, especially Gary, with your background, no magister in Alarissa Mall or New Welkin would ever let their house, their place of power, look like this. They would be just as showboatish, but never let anything creep in like this.
Oof.
As you approach the large double doors, are you guys doing anything, saying anything?
I mean, I'm keeping an eye out for anything that's interesting, but I'll let Passive tell me if we see anything of note.
Okay, duly noted.
I would advise, how long does spectral servant, invisible servant,
unseen servant.
Unseen servant.
How long can the intern be?
I think an hour.
Yep.
Hopefully we won't be in the house that long, so we should probably have him ready to move as soon as we enter.
Agreed. And then Unseen Servant pops up. Well, not pops up, but says hello next to Gary's side, somewhat surprisingly, because I've just cast it.
And Latham, in passing, as you're approaching, one of the things that you get with your passive insight is that as much as this place looks like it's struggling and overgrown, it's not actually damaged.
Mm.
And there's not much to discern off of that about why, but a couple of different things could potentially be that he could be making himself seem less powerful so that people underestimate him, or he could also be in tune with nature.
I mean, how refined? Like, even though it seems somewhat natural, but like, is it refined natural, or is like with
unrefined natural? Like, but traditionally speaking, like the things that Gary sees come from that background of a family history with, like upkeep. Everything about a magister is supposed to be their upkeep because they are a form of nobility, even though they're supposed to be a impartial judge over whatever they have been dedicated towards. But traditionally speaking, none of them would let moss grow in between the cracks of the groundwork, the stamped groundwork. None of them would have a fountain that looks like it's getting algae in it. None of them would have a brass statue of themselves that looks slightly unbecoming as their lead into the house. And it's that appearance of wow, there's even ivy and stuff growing up the sides of the building that just looks untamed, but it's not damaging. And that's kind of the thing that gives the ping to you that's just a little bit odd, because you've explored ruins, you've seen places in disarray, and some of your clients have had their own houses that have not been well kept, and it kind of just springs in your brain about that's weird. So with that,
before we go in, I also want to kind of give the good captain a little bit of... I want to let him off the leash a bit, give him some very specific things to seek out. And I'm assuming that Captain Pancakes can detect, if not see, the unseen servant?
Yes. Captain Pancakes can at least detect the unseen servant, not see him. Otherwise, it would be the seen servant, and we can't have that.
Yes. Can they work together?
High or low?
Let's go low today.
I'm going to convince them.
Yeah, they can work together. This time. We'll see how the relationship grows or decays.
I'll do my best to convey to Captain Pancakes that what exactly we're looking for, and how the intern can be of assistance. Maybe opening windows so the captain can sneak inside, get into places that the unseen servant might have a little bit more difficulty rummaging through, carry things that might be beyond the capacity for the unseen servant to lift, things like that.
Gotcha. It can definitely help the unseen servant. The unseen servant has to walk and do things like go upstairs. The unseen servant cannot do a climb check. I will not allow that. But in the meantime, yes, the unseen servant, if it gets into rooms and stuff, can let Captain Pancakes in. Captain Pancakes has the rudimentary intelligence to know how to check corners and check for possibly hidden walls and that ilk. That said, I need to know what they are looking for.
We're looking for any correspondence, manifests, invoices, or anything that will tie Grimsby directly to the shipment.
Of the Snallygasters?
The Snallygasters.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Hard evidence, physical evidence. That we
and
can
if
submit.
they find it, are they to retrieve it or...
Retrieve, because we need to have something to turn over.
Got it.
Unless they can duplicate it somehow, which is highly unlikely with a cat and an invisible man.
This sounds like the worst police sketch comedy.
It's stories
Captain
from
Pancakes and the Intern.
Captain Pancakes and the Intern are brought to you by viewers like you.
Wheels in the leg man.
Yes, exactly.
But no, if they can, maybe the unseen servant can find a way to attach the paperwork to the captain, and he can climb out of the window.
Got it.
Those types of things.
Yeah, no,
I get
it.
If need be, I could create a duplicate that could remain.
Of yourself?
No, of the paperwork. If it's something that is too sensitive, we can send back I can produce a duplicate, at least something that looks like a duplicate.
Yeah.
So
Make
it may not be the real
copy
document, but it would at least
and then return it so there's no evidence that it's disappeared.
Got it. Okay.
That's the goal then.
Perfect. No,
Acquire,
that's all I needed to know, because I was like, what are you looking for? Like, I mean, hookers and blow, or
I mean, we can just go down the street for that.
Yeah, exactly. So with that, the four of you arrive up towards the doors. You notice there are apparently no guards, no folk that protect him, because you're able to walk right up. And the double doors are a dark wood that appears to be from the natural foliage around. They have gold inlays, and they have each a brass knocker that is a weird, almost feline shape, with holding the actual knocker in the teeth of its mouth.
I guess we're knocking the knockers.
Right. So take the knocker and sure enough, within about 10 seconds after you knock, the door quietly opens on one side, and this elderly human kind of leans out, looks at the lot of you, and just, can I help you?
We've come to discuss with Lord Grimsby the status of his rocket hunt.
A bit early for Master Grimsby, but all right, come in. Opens the door for you, and this man is just shuffling with each step and cane dependent on top of that. He's slowly getting that door open. You can tell from his suit it's slightly frayed, but from work, not just from being ratty or moth-kept. It looks like he's done a variety of jobs throughout the house. And he is completely bald up top, but has white hair that is lining up and comes down long on the sides of his ears. After slowly pushing the door open for you, he, come in. I'll go wake the master. Likes animals, so I'm sure he'll want to hear this. He just starts slowly, painfully walking away. Meanwhile, the entrance to the manor is, again, much in the same way that the outdoors was. It's that weirdness where you see taxidermied animals on display, in addition to a giant statue of 3 eagle-like creatures that look like they're entangled in either a fight or a mating ritual that is approximately 10 feet tall and just made of stone. And there's water elements behind that, in addition to a set of large stairs that rise up and go off into a west and eastern wing. Beyond that, there's a set of large windows that look out towards what appears to be either possibly a hedge maze or some sort of garden in the back. And the elderly gentleman is, like, by the time 2 minutes have passed, he's halfway up the stairs because he's just slow going at that nice little gentle pace.
Oh god, it's that butler in the Lara Croft game.
Yeah, exactly. The one you lock in the freezer?
Yes.
Because you're heartless? Yeah, exactly.
Well, honestly, the longer he takes, the more time the intern has to investigate. So
Yeah, no.
So I need some choices because
I think that's time for the intern to go off and scooch about.
right. Ground level, there's an east wing and west wing. Upper level, east wing and west wing. Where would you like to go with the intern?
Ground level, east wing.
Okay. Ground level east wing opens into a dining room. It is set up with approximately 24 chairs across the dining table. And I have to say the word approximately because at least 2 look like they were broken in the night.
Okay.
Meanwhile, there is the sound of kitchen staff working. They sound busy and a little bit stressed. You can definitely see some heat and steam coming in from the kitchens. The dining room, actually, roll either perception or investigation. Choose one.
Which one's my investigation? Yeah, I'll go investigation.
Okay.
Natural 20.
Ooh, nice. Okay,
Yeah,
so interestingly enough, the intern has that struggle of should I spend more time in here or not? And upon looking at the chairs, they kind of start to piece together like, well, what happened? Because this looks recent and why hasn't anyone cleaned this up? And as the unseen servant walks around the room, just patrolling, looking for signs of thing, it notices a couple of claw marks in 2 different walls. A set of 3 claw marks on one wall, and then another wall has this weird imprint, almost like hook pattern dentations. Indentations, sorry. Oh, bad Bob.
Hook
Bad Bob.
patterns into the wall?
Yeah, into the wall. And these hooks would be approximately like the length of a finger would be the depth that they went in. It's weird though. There's a marking where it looks like there's like 7 of those hooks that went into the wall in one spot.
Okay, so it's sporadic. It's not like even throughout, but it's like
No.
Cool.
At least with an investigation check, it's a single concentrated area, but it's not in a shape that the familiar would be familiar with, or the unseen servant would be familiar with, rather. In walking around the chairs, it's obvious that one of the chairs was broken due to being thrown, and the other one was broken due to something coming through it. There's trace amounts of blood that have been long dried under the table. And it's oxidized enough to be brown, but in the meantime, not so old as to where it's that like super stain. It's got that dry flakiness to it of blood that has come from the night before. The carpeting, there's a rug underneath the table done in an elaborate art style. But as the intern walks, it feels like there's a couple of very well hidden slash marks in the carpet also, almost like claws were just purring through it and doing that making biscuits cat need. That's all you get from that room. Would you like to continue to the kitchens or search another wing?
West Wing.
West Wing, here we go. The scene servant, as in the older butler, is currently now 3/4 the way up the stairs. The unseen servant goes into the West Wing. This is, interestingly enough, it's an art room. Art as in the sense of attempted homemade sculptures, a few paintings of Sir Grimsby, who can now be seen with blonde hair and a couple of piercings marked, one in the eyebrow, one in the nose, and several in the ears. You see hints and semblances of a care for nature, because it looks like there's been multiple times when Grimsby or someone in here has been working to sculpt an animal or paint a portrait of a landscape. You can go ahead and either roll perception or investigation again.
Investigation. Not nearly as strong. That one's an 11.
Yeah, this time, this room is such a mixture of art that about the only thing that the unseen servant can put together from this is that it appears like this is multiple different artists, and some of it might be Grimsby's own work, but there's too many styles in here. It's like a bunch of unfinished projects. And the one thing that it thinks maybe is that maybe last night Grimsby hosted a party and it was like an art party where people would try to make something, or possibly he just likes hosting people that can help him continue to decorate this place. The servant is now walking slowly, painfully slowly, to the east at the top of the stairs. Where would your unseen servant like to go?
I have a question.
Go
Before he makes the call. Being as I am familiar with layouts of larger style houses, would there be any way for me to roll something to get a feel for maybe where the office space might be?
Roll a history check.
Oh, I'm actually trained in that. Let me pull it up and make sure. Yeah. History, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 16 on the die, so 22.
Yes. Officially speaking, in any capacity, these style manors are divided into wing spaces that will have some security near anything important. And one of the standards is that you put the bedrooms on one side, and then anything else that you need to keep safe on the other. So chances are it's probably upstairs, because that is harder to break into and harder to get out of, and in the west wing.
I will convey that to Latham.
Sorry, where's the better area looking? Apologies.
The west wing.
Okay.
Upstairs, west side.
Upstairs, west wing.
West side.
Admittedly, I was scrolling through looking at photos of the West Wing, the show.
Yeah. Keep it up with the memes. I'll get you.
I struggled with posting one of those.
So, the unseen servant goes up, and this time I require a perception check.
In the room itself?
From the intern?
From the intern, and I'll explain why after you roll.
19 plus 3, 22.
Okay, the intern, upon walking into the west wing, spots that there are a total of 6 different rooms on this side.
Sorry,
4 of them.
Upstairs, west wing?
Yes, upstairs, west wing. There are 4 different rooms that appear to have somewhat standard locks. One room that has a more ornate set of locks, about 4 of them, and then finally one room that has claw marks on the door.
Sorry, one room that has 4 locks on it. Eyebrow raise. Is the claw room or the lock room, are they open, or are they sealed?
The claw room is open. The rest of the doors are shut. Without going and checking them, it is impossible to tell if they are locked, but the intern would be smart enough to suspect that the one with 4 locks is probably locked.
Okay. I'm conveying the locked room that my intern sees to yeah. So I dare hesitate, but intern takes a peek into the claw room.
Right. Well, the claw room is interesting, and I'll need, again, a perception check.
Not investigation, straight perception.
Perception.
Okay, 15.
Okay. This room is interesting because it's set up in a weird way. There's no formal furniture outside of one chair that looks like it's shredded to tatters. Like there's just long claw marks all down it and ripping out any of the stuffing of hay and cotton that is within it. There's a pungent smell and odor in the room, but there's also just large pillows that almost resemble beds. Those weird indentation hook marks can be seen in multiple spots in this room. And the window is partly open in this room as well.
But nothing else aside from a torn chair and walls and floor. Are they?
They have scuff marks on the floor where there's not bedding. The bedding has some more of that like cat's paw claw marks from making biscuits, for lack of a better word, but when they knead in with a large feline-like animal.
Oh.
And then outside of that, the intern kind of looks up. There's no light sources made for this room, and that does also ping as odd.
Okay.
There was once curtains, but they've been ripped down and are on the floor.
Someone tried to climb up the curtains and it was a little too heavy. Okay. Are there any other accessible rooms aside from all the other locked and extremely locked rooms?
Again, the intern can try those other doors. The extremely locked room is locked. I will tell you that one right now.
Yeah.
Roll an intelligence check.
On the table. Intel 16. Oh, that's right. 20 total. 30, 20.
Okay. It would be probably possible to send Mr. Pancakes out the window and to see if Mr. Pancakes can get into Super Locked room. And it would also be possible to check the other rooms, but you're running a bit short on time.
Excuse me, it's Captain Pancakes. He didn't go to officer school to be called Mr.
Duly noted. Captain Pancakes, because you never mess up any of my NPC names. Understood.
Never.
Pick, we found a bunch of phonics.
All right. Where is Officer Pancakes at the moment? Is he still outside, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Climbing is relatively easy for Captain Pancakes, though, considering that there's both ivy overgrowth and this style of manor is... It's one of those things that cats have an easy time kind of bouncing up. In fact, Garret, are you clued into Captain Pancakes right now, or are you just standing in there with Latham?
If he makes clear his intentions, I can go ahead and...
I'll tell Garret about the room.
Okay.
And do we want... So that might be an area that I would like to hear Captain Pancakes take on. What is this room? Because I feel like they would know very well why the torn room.
All right. I have to go away for a moment, but just nudge me twice if the good Lord Grimsby makes an appearance.
I can stall.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and look as interested and patient as possible, but send my senses to the good captain.
All right. So when you send your senses into the captain and you begin trying to find a way up, it is almost too easy. And as the captain begins to climb up, there's that natural occurrence to you that cats are good at naturally jumping and moving about, but other things have been doing this, and you can now see some of the long talon marks in the columns and occasionally in the stonework. And again, those weird 7-hook divots that are less deep out here, but still indentations, much like what the unseen servant had previously described.
Is there a telltale smell?
Roll me a perception check with advantage because Captain Pancakes is a cat.
Hope I do better than that one. Not much. Perception, you say?
Yeah,
9.
it's a predator. It's a big predator. Like that acrid scent, that very sharp and pungent base. Yeah, the second he gets to the window, it almost knocks him out with how pungent it is to him. But difficult to tell beyond that. And this might be because you being in Captain Pancakes, you're the one actually in the driver's seat with knowledge, but also Captain Pancakes has never dealt with these things before. This is new.
Even with advantage, I rolled a 3 and a 6.
Yeah. So, that said, if you would like to roll investigation with advantage to check out the other windows or to check out the window of the locked room, have at it, Haas.
Well, that's a 19 on the die.
That's better. That's what you need.
All right. So that's a total of 22.
Yeah, so it's relatively easy to tell that the window to the 4-door locked room is, in fact, unlocked and left partly open because something got out. There's, again, those like claw marks on the window seal with the window being partly open. Mr. Pancakes or Captain Pancakes, excuse me, again, is able to easily just basically all but jump into the room.
Well, I will encourage him to do so.
All right. Go ahead and roll a perception check.
Advantage or no?
Yeah, I'll give you advantage.
Because the first roll was a 5 and the second one was cocked. Oh, there's another 19. Thank you, Caution.
All right. So with the 19...
that's the same as the 22.
Okay. Yeah, so with that 22, Captain Pancakes can tell one of two things. There is a desk that is just covered in papers, not ornate, files everywhere, and that the door with the 4 locks would actually be possible for a cat to open because all of those locks pull into one simple combination that make it easy to open. And Gary, roll me an intelligence check.
Gary's kind of a Viking. So 18.
One of the things that occurs to you is that it would be smart if you were in a room with a big predator and it suddenly just got a bit mad at you, that you could very quickly get out of said room. And that's why there's 4 locks entangled into one cord that can be pulled on an emergency. Because keeping the outside out is easy. And whatever it is in this room shouldn't have been smart enough to open it. But you in Captain Pancakes' mind can go like, oh, hey, look at that.
Things.
I will need a strength check to try to open it, though.
Ooh, I don't know what Captain Pancake's strength is. I started Googling 5e cat, but I wrote in 5e captain.
I mean, that's not wrong.
Right?
It's not wrong. And of course, I get Cat 5e, which is a cable.
Also not wrong, but not right.
Oh, Kitty doesn't have very much strumpf. Let's see here.
Actually, if you go into extras and manage extras, you can pull out a familiar and stick them on you so that you always have them.
Ooh, that's a good thing. Manage extras. Hey, there it is.
Yeah.
There you are. I can have an Aarakocra as a familiar, apparently.
No.
No.
Familiars are named specifically on which ones you can summon.
Yeah. There's a cat.
Not have an Aarakocra as a familiar.
No. It's just this. It came up for some reason.
So it's confusing.
Yeah, I know.
So it's a -4, so it's going to be 6.
Pulls, and it latches 1 and 2, but not 3 and 4. And at that, you hear the butler, Master Grimsby, the people to see you. You hear
Captain.
This voice just, oh, just let me sleep. Come on. I don't want to deal with... It's about the rock. Oh, shit. Yeah. Hear this, audible groan as he gets up and just stay in bed. I'm going to see a thing. You hear a door open and close from upstairs. And sure enough, this gentleman, if he can be called that, wearing a robe that is purple and not long enough, comes walking over to the stairwell, looks out at the four of you and my old man says something about you lot and rocks. I don't see a rock or a rock egg. What's going on? Explain yourself.
Are you still focusing with Captain Pancakes? Are you able to?
Well,
because you didn't say that you nudged me, because I can't hear anything.
Yeah.
Or see anything.
No, it's about this point where I think I might nudge you because
I would like to declare one more attempt to unlock the final 2 locks while he's bellowing.
Uh-huh.
So.
Final attempt.
Oh, that's better. So a total of 11.
Yeah, you needed a 10, so you got lucky. The final 2 locks.
And that's when I pull back my consciousness and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to explain to the man, or shall I? And I say that in the terms of, please do the talking, please.
And both of you can now see that his statue very accurately described him, where he is a man in his mid-60s, because apparently that statue was made 10 years ago. Lots of chest hair. His hair is not naturally blonde. He's been adding something to it to get it to be like that. He is wearing those piercings. His body is somewhat out of shape, but he does walk with that candor of someone who has experience in dealing with people and in being the most powerful person in the room. And so as he leans over the banister to kind of just stare at you for a second, he waits for an answer and starts playing with his robe on the right collar with his left hand, just kind of gently stroking it. Daddy, get my cane. Looks back down. Well, you gonna talk?
Leaning on my own cane, say, well, it's always good to have a cane, especially a very fine one. I hope it is a fine one. At any rate, there's a matter of notes. Let's double check something real quick. Kind of meta. Is it that we need we need information on where the rock is? No, we need.
No, the two half elves that are with us are members of Yunfir Seekers, and they were hired by Grimsby to track down and acquire some roc's eggs. But then their boat was
destroyed.
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 Yeah, okay.
I was gonna go with like run aground and then destroyed later, but just destroyed is all he needs to know.
Yeah. I have some unfortunate news about some of your expedition to get some rocks, as I understand it. Do you know much about this?
I know I paid good money for it. I know the Seekers promised me an egg or a bird, and I haven't seen neither of those in here. Daddy, Kane! And, sure enough, the old butler comes back out waddling with a very, very, very remarkably well-created cane that is a black onyx in the exact shape as the statue outside, where it looks almost like a spinal column of a creature and has a very feline-like head for him to hold in the terms of a skull.
I didn't catch it. So what race was Grimsby? It was
Grimsby is human.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a human male, approximately 5'6", definitely verging on like the 220, 230, where there's a little bit of obesity. But the way he walks, even though he looks somewhat dependent on a cane, it's with that, again, that like candor of like walking to command a room and walking with a little bit of power in his step.
Okay.
After he
mighty fine cane that you have there. It's seems to be a bit of a theme. The feline folk. What pray tell may be of interest to you in that nature?
We are talking about my rock. I will tell you about this if I invite you for dinner. But right now, we are talking business. He starts to walk with the cane and comes to the banister of the stairs and just, where is my rock?
Apparently the ship was unable to deliver the rock, as I understand it, for you. Perhaps we might be able to acquire it?
Glides his finger along there. Are you telling me that after I spent nearly 3,000 gold to equip a ship full of hunters, that it didn't even get out of port a day? Did they get lost?
Oh, the sea is a rather rough sea, but, the 4,000 was, it's a gamble, but it seems that you've gambled on the wrong crew. My apologies to that.
You're right, I did. Those two part of the crew?
Yeah, all of that remain of the crew. All other hands were lost. The boat is gone, sunk beneath the waves less than a day's out.
So, you two came here to take over their contract. That's ambitious. I like that. He starts coming down the stairs in that purple robe.
I'm going to just slightly turn my head and give Latham a long-suffering look. Slowly turn my head back.
I like ambition. Ambition's good. It serves a purpose in life. Without ambition, you never move ahead. So, let's say I give you 5,000 gold. You bring me a rock or a rock's egg, and we call it good.
You'll have to discuss it with my lawyer.
You know well that such things, as you can see, have been difficult to come by.
He laughs a little bit.
I'm not
Difficult
sure
to come by is why they're worth money. Why spend money? And he looks over at the two crewmates and why money might be owed.
You seem to have a means for it, which I appreciate, but 5,000 just doesn't. Not quite what I thought. Yeah, it was worth it to you.
Roll persuasion.
20 total.
He chuckles and just, you're right. It's worth more. Let's go 6. How's 6 sound? Maybe an added bonus of, let's say, 3,000 if you bring me another egg.
Shuffling my feet back and forth, like kind of rocking my feet back and forth a little. Side eye look over. Jyotis?
Gary. It's you and Gary. Those are the only two there. He's now about 2/3 the way down the stairs, just slowly coming down.
Seem reasonable, or rather, I raise my eyebrows and like basically looking for a nod or a head shake.
Go, no go.
I'll kind of very quietly say something along the lines of arrange for a partial payment up front and the rest on delivery. Details. We will discuss the details when we get to a more private space.
My associate and I here think that might be reasonable. You do know that excursion like this will require at least some amount of upfront capital.
Of course. I imagine that the exact capital I gave up front for their ship was not enough. And he walks closer and just gets to the base of the stairs, and I think that I paid your crew 2,000 up front so that you could equip your boat and go get me a rock. So obviously 2,000 ain't gonna do it because he didn't even make it a day. Let's say 3,000 up front. 3,000 gold. Bright, shiny gold. Thing that makes the world go round.
I think that's quite reasonable.
Good. I like that. Ambition and a willingness to work despite wanting to negotiate. I love it. Looks back at the other two. How about you two? You want to start negotiating? I'm owed 2,000 gold. Do either of you have 2,000 gold with you or a rock's egg?
I don't think that when their excursion ended, I believe your contract with their crew has been unfortunately dissolved beneath the waves. It's just something about sunk cost. I'm so sorry.
He laughs again and just, not what I want to hear. But I understand that the basic crew can't pay 2,000 gold. You want to interject?
I was going. Yes, that was just the point I was going to make. We were able to pull 3 of them and the boat off of a shoal where they had been run. Just give them a really quick rundown of what had happened, and then explain that our ship and theirs were attacked by another ship. These folk here weren't in charge in any capacity and had no say in what their captain did. Their captain is long dead. But we came with them to kind of advocate and explain the circumstances in hopes that you would not hold two lowly crew members accountable for the damage that their captain did.
Roll a persuasion check.
I'm going to elaborate, or not elaborate, but I'm going to
Inspire?
yeah, effectively inspire. But I'm going to help to add some more levity to what was being described.
Gotcha. You can add a D8, Gary.
All right. Oh, it was cocked. Hang on.
Ooh, a max on inspiration. So that's 25 plus 5. 30.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I rolled a 17 and an 8 on the inspiration die.
Yeah, so again, this is that moment where your past family training teaches you how to be stern, because when someone approaches you in that like opulent manner and assuming power over little people, the only way to match that is to remind them that why would you need to declare your power over little people? So your tone and exactly what you say reflect that in that way to him. And he kind of gets that nod and gives you a look over and just, my goodness. I thought this was your talking man because he's smooth. Changed his accent and everything in just 2 lines. But I do appreciate someone who knows how to talk. You got some noble blood in you, sir.
I grew up around them.
That's good enough. You a summer hot boy?
Born and bred.
Yeah. They do nobles wrong over there. Best out on your own. That's why
I
I'm
am on my
here.
own.
Looks over the other two. This man has convinced me to give you a reprieve. But understand, in a town that prides itself on strength, that makes me look a little weak. So you lot are gonna disappear. And you, he points over to you, Gary, are gonna tell me who hit their ship. And you are gonna be honest, because I do not appreciate lies, and I will know.
Oh, I can't remember who it is, but I know it was somebody that I found distasteful, so I have no qualms whatsoever telling him exactly. The pearlescent viper.
Gives a nod. All right, then. Snaps his fingers, and 2 gentlemen that were completely hidden until now step forward, both of them at least 6 feet tall, wearing these dark robes and carrying these gray ropes with them. You two, when the next UNT ship docks in our town, if it is one of the Vipers, you are to communicate my displeasure. Gives a little eyebrow raise. They both bow and depart. Nasty business. I let her in my city. I tell her what I love to do, that I'm all about animals, and then she goes and ruins my venture. So, I'm hosting a dinner party tonight. If y'all like to come, I'll make sure to give you your gold afterwards. How's that sound?
It would be a pleasure. Is it just for the 2 of us, or are we welcome to bring other guests?
Oh, bring all the guests you want. I love a good dinner party, and my staff works so hard every day to throw them. More the merrier.
We shall send confirmation. I want to make sure that all of my crew are available.
Of course.
You'll understand that we will want to begin preparations immediately, so we'll send confirmation as we be well on the way to acquiring what you requested.
Gentlemen, this to me is a passion project. I love animals. And he kind of points around all the taxidermied creatures in the room. I love them. Sometimes they just don't want to stay, though. Sometimes they live a good life, and then you gotta remember them. He walks over and brushes the fur of one of the lynx that he has that's taxidermy. I don't set hard timelines because I'm an understanding man. But I will tell you this much. I have limits. So let's say y'all have 2 months. That should be more than enough time to gather whatever supplies you need, whatever people you want. Go get me an egg. And if you get me 2, you get a bonus. But if you don't, he snaps his fingers and 2 more gentlemen appear, one out of each wing. Then unfortunately, the only thing I can offer you excuse me. The only thing I can offer you is the hangman's kindness. We understand each other, correct?
You're smart.
Very good. Well, gentlemen, I am underdressed for the occasion, so I'm going to take myself my daily morning nature stroll, and then I'm going to get ready for a dinner party. I'll see y'all tonight.
We look forward to it.
Have a wonderful evening.
You as well. And, with that, I think that's where we're going to end this week.
Are we going to not finish with the intern and Captain Pancakes?
Oh, you're right. Intern and Captain Pancakes. Epilogue. Intern, roll me an investigation check because Captain Pancakes got you in.
No, it's good on this one. 11.
With an 11, the room is too disorganized. It's so difficult to find anything because there's so many different papers indicating so many different deals. This man has shipped in creatures from the entire world. There's evidence that he is looking for any trace of wyverns from the far north. He has shipped a couple of orcs in, which is the large bulls of the far north. He has been looking for creatures that are otherworldly, like the manifests that are in this room. There's no direct evidence, but there's so much that he's researching and paying for that it creates this, like, how is he paying for this? What is he doing with this? Because he is after just about every rare creature you can imagine. Yeah, that's appropriate.
Yikes.
That's fine.
Well, anyways, on that note, I think it's time to have an end.
Oh.
So, I'm sorry we didn't have any combat tonight.